Handle el phone. He's on the phone.
Yep, I'm here.
Good morning, and welcome to the regular session of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, also sitting as all special taxing districts, July 8, 2026, 9 a.m. Board members will attend either in person, by telephone, or remotely via electronic conferencing, and we have Supervisor Simmons on the phone. Can you hear us, Mr. Simmons?
Yes, I can.
All right. Um, Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Supervisor Lines, can you please lead us? Thank you. And just before I move on to call to the public, I just want to acknowledge that we have with us CSA President Alton Joe Shepard, and CSA Executive Director Craig Sullivan. Welcome, and his staff. Um, at this time, I'll move on to call to the public. Call to the public is held for public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comments will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or scheduling the matter for further discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email at publiccomments@yumacountyaz.gov. The email forms of public comments will be accepted until 8 a.m. the morning of the meeting. All public comments will be read out loud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisors meeting that starts at 9. Desiree, do we have any emails?
We do not.
I do have some speaker forms for some items on the agenda, and I'll go ahead and call you up when I open that item from the agenda. But I do have two for call to the public. Tyler? Or Taylor? Yeah, Taylor. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I've never done this before. I'm a little nervous.
Just give us your name and your address, bank account. No, just kidding.
My name is Taylor Winner, and I live at 131 South Avenue A, apartment 4. My grandma is Lita Mae Ott. She came here in the Great Depression with her family and started the Ott Farms, known as the Gila Valley Farms now. So I am coming to you as someone with a lot of history, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I have a lot of family here. I am very concerned about Yuma's future because if we allow AI data centers to be built here, our farming industry will be destroyed. You all know how much the farms bring into our economy. $4.4 billion industry. Our farms also feed the entire nation. AI data centers cause pollution to the water, they take water, and they cause environmental changes where the heat rises. My concern is not only for one of those items, but all three of them compacted on what that will do to our environment and our growing season. It will basically make our food edible. And I fear that if our industry is shut down because nobody wants to buy poisoned food, what is going to happen to Yuma? I am asking you all to pause anything, any builds of AI data centers until we have more research on what it does to the environment and what it will do to our farms. Because if our farms are destroyed, there will be no Yuma, and we will be like one of those old coal towns that are deserted and ghost towns. So sorry if I'm rambling too long, but yeah, that's basically my point, is I'm very afraid and concerned with what is going to happen in the future and if Yuma is even going to last another 10 years. That's it, sorry.
Thank you for your concerns. We'll much appreciate your concerns, and we'll definitely take them and we'll note them. And as far as right now, none of that is being discussed or at least in the very near horizon. So
okay, thank you.
Jim Williamson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What I'm going to address, each one of you will need a copy of this. So I don't know who to give it to.
She'll take.
My name is Jim Williamson, a permanent resident of Welton, 30105 East Mountain View Avenue in Welton. I suspect each of you have heard the quip, "They got paid under the table." People fail to realize you're human beings who only know what has been brought to your attention. That is my purpose here today. Decisions are made based on the information that you have. Ovida Help signs have gone up on many of the choice commercial properties of both downtown Yuma and Yuma's foothill over the past 5 years. Ovida Health claims it is serving the public. And that which you have been handed is an example of how they serve the public. You will find that there is a billing for over $5,500. It took a single individual less than 15 minutes to take a single CT scan of my head. Thereafter, a second person took less than 20 minutes to clean the dry blood that had accumulated while waiting more than 2 hours for the CT scan. No other services were provided, just a simple CT scan that Oviedo Health themselves say costs $65. Yet Oviedo Health now bills $6,347. For what? Americans were outraged when Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme was revealed. Oviedo Health surpasses Bonnie's scam. This is not a matter of an outraged, disgruntled patient unhappy with the service received, just blowing smoke. Yuma has a large population of elderly people. We are being fleeced by Oviedo Health. You are now holding the proof that needs to be addressed, and now you know. For your own information, Simon Medical Imaging, who operates also here in Yuma, would charge $400 to $450 for the CT scan. And the difference depends on what they call contrast. I don't know who your mathematician is there on the board, but if you'll take 450 and times that by 14, I think you will find that is about the same amount that Oviedo Health is charging for that CT scan. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Jim. Anybody else from the public that wishes to address the board? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board and move on to presentations, proclamations, and appointments. During this segment of the agenda, board members may discuss the presentations and proclamations and may announce appointments to the Yuma County Planning and Zoning Commission and Yuma County Board of Adjustments. No legal action will be taken. Any appointments?
None.
Okay. Item number 1, Chairman proclaims the week of July 16 to the 25th, 2026 to be pre-trial probation, parole, and supervision week in Yuma County. 19 July. 19. No, 19. And Lynn, Supervisor Pancrase will read the proclamation.
Good morning. Proclaiming the week of July 19th to the 25th, 2026 as pretrial, probation, parole, and supervision week in Yuma County. Whereas community corrections are an essential part of the justice system to uphold the laws with dignity while recognizing the rights of the public to be safeguarded from criminal activity. And whereas community corrections professionals are responsible for supervising adult and juvenile offenders in the community, and whereas community corrections professionals are trained professionals who provide services and referrals for offenders and work in partnership with community agencies and groups, and whereas community corrections professionals provide services, support, and protection for victims, and advocate for community and restoration justice. And whereas the community corrections professionals are a true force for positive change in their communities, now therefore, the week of July 19th through the 25th, 2026, is hereby proclaimed to be pretrial, probation, parole, and supervision week in Yuma County.
Thank you, Lynn. And
Here, Mike's there.
And we have, I know we have, it's for juvenile and adult probation. And, oh, there's Ryan, and hadn't seen him, so. And, yes.
Good morning, Chairman
Morning.
Porteous, members of the board. Just want to extend my appreciation for your proclamation recognition again this year. The work that probation does, both adult and juvenile in our community, is very critical. We give opportunities to individuals to make changes in their lives so that they can be productive members of our society, but we're only one cog in that wheel. We leverage help from our treatment providers, from our local businesses to employ these individuals to make sure that we're keeping the community safe and making a positive impact as we move forward. I want to note that with probation, we save a tremendous amount of money, not only to our community but to the state. It costs approximately $4 a day to supervise somebody in a community, about $88 a day to put them into a jail or a prison. So for everybody that we can keep in the community safely and get them an opportunity to make those behavior changes and be good moms and dads and good employees, we're just helping the future generations stay out of our criminal justice system, and that's our goal. So thank you guys very much for recognizing the work that we do. It's often behind the scenes. A lot of folks don't see us in the work that we do every day, and it's very difficult work, and we have some very hardworking individuals that do it. So thank you. Ben.
Excuse me, I'm Ben Rowe, juvenile probation, and Mr. Byrd covered it all, but this is an excellent opportunity for us to recognize and to thank the probation staff that we work with, who are working with families every day and seeking to protect the communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's get pictures, yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Moving on to item number 2, and we have County Supervisors Association presentation by Executive Director Greg Sullivan and President Alton Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to provide an opening before our CSA presentation. Good morning to the Board of Supervisors here in Yuma County. It's good to be here with you, and it's an honor to be here in your facilities to provide the opening. For the record, my name is Alton Joe Shepard. I am a County Board of Supervisor for Apache County District 2, and also serving as the CSA's president here for Arizona for this year. I'd like to say thank you for your involvement with CSA. Your attendance and your involvement means a lot to our organization, to CSA, and it provides an effective collaboration, and I'm grateful for your voice, your board's voice in our association. Secondly, I'd like to thank Supervisor Pancrazzi. Thank you very much for serving as a member of our association's Legislative Policy Committee, and also having been serving as our immediate past president last year for CSA. I take a lot from you, and I've learned a lot from you over the years, so I appreciate your leadership in doing so. And yeah, it's tiring, but I enjoy it for this year, traveling around the states, counties. So joining me, I have Craig and also Caitlin here. As you know, we are here to brief you in regarding the important issues of CSA's work for this past year in our state legislature and the state. But before I do turn the time over, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put a plug in for our 2026 CSA Summit, which is going to be in Flagstaff, October 6th through the 8th. As you know, this is, I think, the most important meeting for CSA, and we look forward to seeing you guys there to have a collaboration and identifying some of our tasks for CSA and their staff to work on. With your permission, Mr. Chair, I'd like to turn the time over to Mr. Sullivan, and thank you very much, and I enjoy having to meet you here like this. It brings a lot of blessings. You know, I've been spending a lot of time on the roadways in prayer and asking for much rain across our state, and just to let you know that we did finally get some rain back in my neck of the woods up on the higher elevations, the other corner of the state. And so I'm hoping that we have that. I did enjoy the sweat bath yesterday, just standing outside in 115-degree weather. And it's like going in a sweat lodge. So again, just want to say there's many blessings coming for us, and I look forward to working with you, continuing down the road. Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Vice Chair, thank you. Members of the board, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Shepherd. Thank you.
We join you in those prayers for water.
Oh, yes.
But specifically, can we pray for it up north behind the dam? So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, I'm Craig Sullivan with the County Supervisors Association. Thank you for this opportunity to brief you today. I'm here to provide our annual report, and it's really our pleasure to do that. But before we begin, I do want to echo Mr. Shepherd's comments. We are exceedingly grateful for your partnership and collaboration in our association. You all are great voices for your community. You bring it to our table. You're meaningful to our whole organization, and I want to thank you for that partnership. I want to extend particular gratitude to Supervisor Pancrazzi and Supervisor Lyons, who did serve in our Legislative Policy Committee efforts, and as a result of that, had to spend many hours communicating with lawmakers. You two are very credible voices in rural communities, and legislators listen to you, and it benefits all of us because we're all in the business of trying to promote good policy. So thank you, and thank you for responding to my early morning texts. I do appreciate that.
The best time to catch us.
That's it. So I did provide to you a document that walks through all of the association report. I'm not going to talk about all of it, but I'm going to go through a good chunk of it, and I'm happy to explore anything that you would like. It's very important for us to make sure that you see the work that we're doing. And it boggles my mind that just a few months ago in October, last October, we were here, all of the counties in Arizona, the supervisors, professional staff, dialoguing about issues that affect constituents and taking it to the legislature. So thank you for hosting us. It was a wonderfully productive meeting, and we've come a long way since then. So thank you. Just as we begin, I do want to talk a little bit about the association, just for constituents who may be watching. The County Supervisors Association is a collaboration of the 15 counties. Our board of directors are all 61 supervisors. We come together in this collaboration because by working together, we can build information and capacity that isn't replicated easily in each of the 15 counties. So whether it's Greenlee County, Yuma County, Maricopa County, by all coming together, we're able to build capability. So that's what we're about, putting good information out on the table and informing decision-making at the local level as well as the state level, and you all are a big part of that. And I want to use that as an opportunity as well to thank your team because we rely heavily on getting good input from your professional staff, Mr. McGahee, Mr. Figueroa, your government consultant, Alexis Susdorf. They always make sure that we are hearing and getting good quality information. So thank you for that, Ian. It helps us serve you, and we're proud to be on Team Yuma County. So getting into the report, what does all this look like? So first off, our association based in Phoenix, across the street from the Capitol, serves as a connecting entity. So we regularly are hosting meetings with lawmakers, policy experts, agency heads, and others. We meet regularly with what we call affiliate groups, the managers group, might be the planning directors, others, to get their good information. We also serve as a connector between the counties and important stakeholder groups. Some of those are ongoing items, like the PSPRS Advisory Committee and the PSPRS Board of Trustees, which is really important to us. Others are temporary items, like the Energy Promise Task Force that we served on, or the Municipal Timeframes Committee that's in place now. We're trying to make sure we're bringing county perspective to that dialogue. And there's a lot of work that goes on in that space. We focus a lot on building good information. And over the last year, we prioritized building out our web platform to get that information out to you, your policy staff, as well as legislators and their policy staff. We are in partnership with state lawmakers, and so we want to build high-quality information and get that out to decision makers. And you can see some of the examples that we unfolded over the course of the last year. Critical to that is data. We're a data-driven organization, so we import as much publicly available data as we can, and it's growing exponentially. That database and that data mining allows for products that we can put online. For example, our data tools, County Encyclopedia, Revenue Dashboard, County Profiles. These are online tools where you are able to access data, your professional staff may, your constituents can look up county-related data as well. We also build that information out to help educate, both here at the local level as well as at the Capitol. And what's that look like? Over the last year, we've published several explainer documents on important public policy issues, Arizona's property tax system, long-term care system, pensions, special districts, transportation. These are intended to be online, easy-to-access products that help explain and visualize and tell the story. We'll continue to build this out every year. Very importantly, the data allows for information that we use in what we share with lawmakers. And what I put here were 3 explainer documents that really showed the power of that. There were bills to change pension benefits, restrict revenues, and to cut county revenue streams. The explainers that we sent out really helped lawmakers see what that meant and understand in an easy to understand platform. And this, Supervisor Lyons and Supervisor Pankratz, you'll remember, because these were the things we were shipping to you. We were very pleased with the interactivity that we got in short order on these. So they're working, and so thank you for shipping them out. But lawmakers struggle to consume information, so we just have to find easy ways to help them out.
Craig, to your point, it's a challenge to help them understand how they affect downstream, specifically the counties. And so it's been a pleasure to work with you and Supervisor Pankratz to make sure that they understand, because it's that degree of separation where they just don't understand.
It is. It is. There's a massive bridge that we're always trying to cross. And by empowering all of us, we want to have a sustained communication effort in that regard. I also listed here on the right just some of the research projects that we've been involved in. We can mine data, we can develop our own research, but we're trying to add capacity by partnering with the university system to get grants, to do studies into areas like workforce development challenges, procurement modeling. We're looking at some visualizations on transportation. So by getting out of our box, we can bring in additional resources to build our capability. We're going to continue to do that. So let me move on a little bit to the legislative side of the business, and we'll walk through a report on what just occurred. The session ended a couple weeks ago. New laws will be effective September 12th. And so what our team's doing now is putting a complete summary together of all the new laws that were enacted, so we can distribute that, and your policy team, your management team are able to look at that and see what they have to implement. We are fielding inquiries now about new bills, budget impacts. So please know if there's anything that folks need to understand, send them our way. We've got additional reports coming their way as well. This year was remarkable. There were more than 2,000 bills that were introduced. It was a record, had never seen that. Thankfully, there was not a record in terms of bills passed and signed into law, right? So the process worked in terms of winnowing things down, but it did make our team hustle quite a bit to triage all these bills that came into the process. There were 7 ballot referrals this year, and they're referred to in your packet. There were 3 last year. So on this ballot, there are 10 ballot questions sent by the legislature. We wanted to take a shot at quantifying some of the activity, just so you can see how this works in practice from our Legislative Policy Committee. We review all the bills, we triage the ones that touch county operations, get feedback from your team, and then we bring items to you all for decisions. We took 63 specific bills to our LPC for decisions. Of that, overwhelmingly, on your direction, we were able to work with lawmakers to either defeat bills or amend them favorably, which we like to do. So 18 bills were amended, 34 were defeated. We had over 100 meetings, direct sit-downs with lawmakers. This doesn't include texts or hallway conversations or phone calls. This is in office, briefing county issues. Some of them were pre-session, some of them were after session, but it really highlights how legislative engagement is a very participatory face-to-face thing, and we can carry forward a message, but it is multiplied by what all you do, and that's why I appreciate so much the relationship you have with your lawmakers. Our team also gave 49 testimonies in committee this year. So we're just trying to get out there, burn some shoe leather, and communicate. Very quickly, budget context. It drives a lot of what happens. We knew this year that tax conformity, which is conforming to the federal tax reductions, was going to be a priority. And we knew that that would affect the state budget about $1.3 billion. So what that meant was, how do they solve that beyond it, and what does it mean? And there was an early time where there were resources that would, or policies that would have affected your general fund in this dialogue. Those were removed, so I want to be clear. But a lot of what we had to pivot to was educating on budget impacts that were on the table that impacted Yuma County taxpayers. We'll talk a little bit about more on those in a minute. This shows you the spreadsheet that the legislature has on its projected budget. And the important point here is in fiscal year 2028, they are projecting on an $18 billion budget to have a $24 million ending balance. You all are budgeteers. That is like landing on a postage stamp, and it really depends on the economy. So what that means is we'll just watch that very carefully to see how things grow, root for growth, but we were not affected in this budget, but we're always looking over the horizon. These are the items I was talking about that we had to spend a lot of time on, and let me just briefly highlight these here. We've really struggled of late with the state's commitment to funding its share of the probation officers. And some of that is because this issue has become a rural county issue. Maricopa is not in this program as it's constructed for the rurals. And I appreciated the acknowledgement you gave of the good work to the probation officers earlier, because we see that too. This year, the legislature did finally make a commitment to put some resources in for the next fiscal year that were asked for, about $10 million. And they put it in for 2 years down the road. But there's a shortfall for the next fiscal year. And so that's something that has to continue to be worked on. And what our priority has to be, supervisors, is to work with lawmakers to understand that this is a state commitment and needs to be part of the baseline. It's not a member's ask for your people to have to go in and say fund probation. This is an obligation. So we want to work on that. Similarly, there were reductions to what we call county pass-throughs. What are those? As you know, when bills are passed, they often affect your bottom line, your taxpayers. So we will go back to the legislature and say, can we get some mitigation of that? So costs associated with certain pension plans, juvenile dependency, basic state mandates. We had gotten specific grants for you all to help mitigate that. They were all cut in an early budget, but that was fixed. It was a good opportunity for us to educate folks about those, but I was a little bit concerned about that for a moment. Opioid settlement monies. We have built out a kit for counties to look at their expenditure limit and have a civic conversation about rebasing that. We know that conversation's happening here. It's happening in other counties. But counties are bound by the expenditure limit, and we received opioid dollars to help serve the community, and we're penalized if we spend those in excess of the expenditure limit. Nobody envisioned that. So what we were able to do was to get 1 year of excludability for opioid expenditures from that expenditure limit. And we'll have to continue to extend that going forward for counties that'll continue to be bound by it.
And Craig, that's tied back to the 1980 expenditure limit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
1980 expenditure limit focused on the bucket of services provided at that time. A few other county touch points that are in here. There were dollars for the sheriff's offices for basic, just direct aid and then coordinated reentry. We've sent out an email to management that kind of walks through all of that. There was an item in the budget that was late that adjusted Superior Court judge salaries and by extension JP salaries. We don't necessarily have a position on that, but what we are concerned about is there are a lot of decisions made by the state and by the court system that is affecting your general fund. For every dollar of judiciary salary that the state spends, we spend $2.50, and we're not making the decision. So we do need to have a conversation with the legislature about how to relieve the pressure of the judiciary on the county taxpayer. These are bills that we worked on that folks brought to us to take down there.
And Craig, I apologize, Mr. Chairman,
No, please
just
do.
for clarification, can you please explain to people the county and their oversight with courts and/or funding so that they understand the overlap or lack of overlap?
That's a very good question. So the courts are a separate branch of government. They're on par with the legislature and the executive. So and the state has delegated to the county taxpayer funding a significant portion of the court system. That's not the way it is in many other states. In many other states, there's much more state funding of the state's judiciary at the local level. But we are where we are. And so our task via statute is to work with the judiciary to provide reasonable expenses. But we don't make a lot of the policy decisions, both in the court, we don't make the policy decision in the court or at the legislature. And regularly there are decisions in those bodies that affect costs, and then requests are made of you all, and you have to juggle what those are. What we have seen in other states is they start moving some of those responsibilities more to the state and off the local taxpayer. I think we're behind in that regard here in Arizona.
What about 50-50 funding, right?
In terms of no, sir. Let me get you some data points on that. 50-50 funding is for the Superior Court judges' salaries.
Right.
But then it changes on the different classes. We ran some data about the growth of the judiciary costs statewide, and the growth in the counties is in the 60-70% that we're carrying, in the states on the lower end. So we've watched over the last 20 years that move more and more to the county taxpayer. And I'll get you the specific data on that.
But if we don't meet their obligations, they can always write a directive and force us to provide.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Which has happened in the past.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, Supervisor, you're exactly right. Which is part of the
challenge.
So I will do a little bit of follow-up on that piece.
Thank you.
And you know, for listeners, we do have a podcast that covers that topic that I'd encourage folks to listen to as well, because it does a nice walkthrough. In terms of bills that we ran, we do ask our counties if there are bills that they want us to run, bring them forward. Last year, Yuma County had us run the 1419 related to solar energy. Thank you, Supervisor, for bringing it forward. I want to particularly thank Caitlin King in the room, who shepherded that, and Alexis Sussdorf. They did a wonderful job working that. It's never easy, so we really appreciate the collaboration on that.
Well, and that came out of our CSA resolutions to be able to forward that to the legislature, so I appreciate the other counties and their support in getting that. It's critical that we have the other counties' support as we're asking for laws to be amended or adjusted.
Yep. Yes, sir. So that was a very productive conversation. The issues that weren't enacted on the right were not enacted because of they would have the state incur ongoing costs to dedicate to emergency management. This was not a year for a conversation about ongoing expenses. A big part of what our association does for the counties is the triaging and stakeholder work on all the bills that touch the county. So there are hundreds, and then we narrow it down. These are policy areas we were particularly focused on this year, and I'll highlight a couple. First, there is a very significant conversation, as you well know, across the state and across the country about energy siting, data centers, renewable energy, all important things. A lot of the policy conversation that's emerging at the legislature is intended to disconnect the local planning and zoning conversation from these. And so we have been trying to share very directly that public processes lead to good outcomes. And so we do think that it's important to have collaboration in siting, and we work to protect your interest in that regard. And there were quite a few bills in that space that ultimately were defeated within the legislature, and some vetoed by the governor. I mentioned that we're working on summarizing all the bills that passed, and these are just some themes and topics of bills that did pass. Overwhelmingly in divided government, bills kind of work towards the middle ground, right? Or they get vetoed. And so what that has allowed for is a lot of collaboration on bills that might have been a concern, help us amend things. Lawmakers often call us and say, okay, I know you're gonna have some problems with this, what can we work on? So that's all very, very positive. A few things I wanna highlight here. One is related to affordable housing. The issue this year as it relates to the counties that we saw them pass was a new district called a State Affordability Infrastructure District that developers are able to build the amenities for a property, for a development, and then assess the properties going forward. You may recall that there's something called the Community Facilities District that applies locally. This is now a state district. This was passed overwhelmingly, and there was a lot of support for it. We raised a lot of perspective on this, and there were a fair number of amendments to it, which was good. But we'll have to monitor this, and you all need to be paying attention to this in the community. Also, the conversation about public notice. For several years, as public notices have changed, we have found significant issues related to getting items noticed by the paper. We submit it to them, but given how they've distributed infrequently now, we often miss deadlines for actually holding hearings. It's become a process problem. Senator Angus out of Mojave County, former supervisor, worked on a bill this year that ultimately led to a collaboration with the newspapers to improve this process. It doesn't eliminate the newspaper public noticing, but it does allow for a more efficient process, and we're hopeful this is going to be a step in the right direction. It's been a concern in counties and cities as they have to reschedule meetings because their notices were not sufficiently published due to papers scheduling. And quick comment on agency continuations. The one I wanted to highlight, the State Land Department. You all are aware that embedded in that bill was a biosolids study committee, and I understand that you'll be serving on that, Supervisor Pancrazzi. Oh, I got you. Yeah, so that occurred, and so that dialogue's been happening, and I just wanted to make sure that you all are having that conversation. These are the reports that we're rolling out, and so you'll see more paper coming your way, but I just wanted you to show we are doing what we can to support your staff, County Finance Officer Guide, legislative summaries, and our annual report. And then as I often say, the reward for finishing one session is we got to do it all again. So we are getting ready, and our deadline for new proposals is August 14th, and I know you're having dialogues here. We are doing our work at the staff level to identify emerging issues that we're going to have a conversation about. And as you know, we bring resolutions forward. We are monitoring a court-level inquiry into indigent defense to see what that means and what costs may be associated, but we'll report out to you on that in September. And so just as a final note, I want to end by saying thank you again. I am really grateful for the involvement you all have in this association. We count on you a ton, and I'm really proud to be part of your team. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate all the time.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
And Craig, I know we were defeated previously on more local control, but Alton and I were talking about it this morning. I would like to address that again.
Yeah.
More local control by the counties without being forced to do what the state tells us to do.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
I know that's a heavy ask.
It's a, yeah, I mean,
But
yeah.
I'm
let's
hoping-
keep whittling away at
Yes,
that.
definitely.
Right, Alton?
Well, I like locally informed decision-making or local responsiveness, because that's really what it's all about.
In word craft.
I-
That's
Yeah.
better, yes.
Yeah, that's, but anyway, I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions? for-
No.
Oh, Craig,
Thank you, Craig.
thank you,
Thank you,
making
Walter.
that 3-hour trip. Supervisor Shepherd, thank you. Well, depends who was driving. Caitlin, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on to item number 3, presentation highlighting Yuma County's 2027 Leadership Empowerment and Development U-Lead Program. Nelly, morning.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning, Chairman Porches and members of the board. Nayeli Flores, Training Supervisor with Human Resources here, excited to present to you today the 3rd year of Yuma County's Leadership Empowerment and Development Program's 2027 cohort. This year, I would like to shift a bit from what U-Lead is to who U-Lead is. As a brief overview, U-Lead is a 9-month program commitment that consists of formal in-house training, small group mentoring with executive level mentors, and monthly program roundtable discussions. The U-Lead program continues to support Yuma County's goals and values and is in support of becoming an employer of choice. The Human Resources Training Division will continue to manage the program and to facilitate all required trainings to ensure that the mentor and participant roles are fulfilled and for the overall success of the program. I'd like to take a moment to highlight some past U-Lead graduates that have been promoted since their participation in the program. Clara Macias, a 2025 graduate cohort, went from a senior law enforcement human resources specialist with the Sheriff's Office to employee relation analyst with Human Resources. Rene Rosas, a 2025 cohort graduate, went from a senior eligibility worker for the Housing Department and recently promoted to Deputy Director for the Housing Department. Jacob Rodriguez, another 2025 cohort graduate, went from a senior grounds maintenance worker with Facilities Management and promoted to a grounds maintenance supervisor with Facilities Management. I would like to thank our team of returning executive mentors for continuing to dedicate their time and energy to help guide, coach, and mentor, and their contributions for the success of our program. We have 5 returning mentors and 1 new mentor this year. Robin Stallworth Poquet, Assistant County Administrator, with 15 years of service with Yuma County. We have Captain Ana Duarte of Sheriff's Department with 14 years of service. Jessica Rodriguez, Chief Human Resources Officer with 17 years of service. Humberto del Castillo, Chief Financial Officer with 1 year of service. Reina Curiel, Yuma County Justice Court Administrator with 16 years of service. And welcome to our newest member, Desiree Phillips, Clerk of the Board with County Administration with 2 years of service. Collectively, these 6 executive mentors represent decades of Yuma County leadership experience and have volunteered to invest their time in developing the next generation of county leaders. I'd like to take a moment and highlight why some of our selected participants applied. The individuals selected for U-Lead didn't apply only for professional development. They applied because they wanted to become stronger leaders for Yuma County. Across the applications, we saw a commitment to serve, continuous learning, and a desire to make a greater impact within their departments and offices and throughout the organization. The desire to learn, lead, and serve was evident throughout the application process. Those qualities are well represented in the group that you are about to meet. I'd like to introduce to you the U-Lead 2027 cohort. One of the most valuable components of U-Lead is the mentor-mentee relationship. Each participant has been thoughtfully paired with an executive mentor whose experience and leadership perspective will help challenge, support, and inspire their growth throughout the program. As I introduce the participants, I will also reveal the mentor who has committed to investing in their development over the next 9 months. And our participants are Angel Atondo, CAMA Specialist with the Assessor's Office. Raul Hernandez, CAD Manager with Engineering. Julieta Gist, Human Resources Employment Specialist, and their mentor that will be guiding these three individuals is Captain Ana Duarte. We have Ryan Lee, Vector Control Specialist with the Health Department, Alejandra Jimenez, Human Resources Benefit Analyst, and the mentor that will be guiding these two individuals is Desiree Phillips. We have Jamie Morales Garcia, Senior Housing FSS Coordinator with Housing Department, Mary Sains, Legal Administrative Specialist with the Public Defender's Office, Alex Cabral Jr., Fleet Superintendent with Public Works, and the mentor that will be guiding these three individuals is Humberto del Castillo. We have Brennan Amos, Appraiser 1 with the Assessor's Office, Greta Aguirre, Accountant 1, Financial Services, Jorge Soto Renteria, Highway Maintenance Supervisor with Public Works, and the mentor that will be guiding these three individuals is Jessica Rodriguez. Amber Simons, Agenda Specialist with County Administration, Esther Juarez Martinez, Crime Victim Advocate Supervisor with the County Attorney's Office, and the mentor that will be guiding these two individuals is Reina Curiel. Lastly, we have Leticia Solis, Chief Clerk, Justice Court Precinct 1, Alma Barcena, Probation Services Supervisor with Juvenile Probation, Clarissa Castillo, Treasury Coordinator with the Treasurer's Office, and the last mentor that will be guiding these three individuals is Robin Stallworth-Poquet. Today, we introduce the future leaders of Yuma County and the executive mentors who have committed to supporting their development. We look forward to returning before the board in the spring to recognize their accomplishments, celebrate their growth, and present the ULEAD 2027 graduating class. Chairman Porches, members of the board, on behalf of Human Resources, thank you for your continued support of leadership development in Yuma County. And I believe I have several of the participants and our mentors here, so I'll ask if they can please stand so we can recognize them. There you go. Congratulations to our participants, thank you to our mentors, and best of luck to the new cohort as they begin this exciting journey. Thank you.
Any questions for Nelly?
I have one comment. It's called We're Growing Our Own.
Yes.
And Yuma County has been known for doing that for a very long time. And I'm really pleased to see the county also involved in it. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Pancrezi.
Thank you, Nelly, for leading this program, and to all the leaders of tomorrow, hope next year we'll see them here again, and well, thank you to all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4, presentation of the mix with the Yuma County and el Condado Informado by Yuma 77.
Welcome to The Mix. Yuma County celebrated the completion of its Public Health Services District remodel and expansion with the ribbon-cutting ceremony. The modernized facility will improve access to care, increase efficiency, and create more opportunities for collaboration. Following the ceremony, supervisors, staff, and community stakeholders toured the renovated facility, getting a first-hand look at the new spaces and updated amenities.
So there was a new addition in our clinical area which expanded services and improves access to care to the community. So that's with our family planning, our immunizations. A lot of our other spaces were renovated as well, so it opens up collaboration spaces that we can work with our partners. We can offer better services to the community and the public, which is what we're here for.
County leaders said the project reflects a long-term investment in public health and will support expanded services and collaboration for residents across Yuma County. Yuma County has launched a new online permitting system designed to make the application process more accessible and user-friendly. The platform features simplified applications, improved navigation, real-time permit status updates, and direct messaging with reviewers.
The new platform will provide a user-friendly online experience, allowing applicants to submit online with ease and follow along through the review workflow steps. Some of the key features include real-time notifications, instant messaging with plan reviewers, and increased communication throughout the permitting process.
It also helps users identify required permits and allow guests to track application progress, comments, and approvals. Yuma County's government cable channel, Yuma 77, is back on the air for Spectrum TV customers following the completion of an equipment move to a new broadcast site. The channel resumed service after Spectrum connected and tested the relocated equipment. Residents can also continue streaming Yuma 77 live on the county website and watch Board of Supervisors meetings live on Facebook. The move supports the county's updated broadcasting operations. Before we go, early voting is now underway in Yuma County ahead of the upcoming election. Eligible voters can cast ballots in person at the county's early voting site located at 198 South Main Street in Yuma. Election officials encourage voters to take advantage of early voting to avoid election day lines and ensure their ballots are cast before the deadline. Thanks for tuning in. Residents can catch the latest episode of The Mix by visiting yumacountyaz.gov and navigating to the VOD section. You can also head over to Yuma County's official YouTube channel. English episodes are available under the Mix playlist, while Spanish-speaking viewers can find the Spanish version under El Condado Informado. Both platforms offer access to current and past episodes. ¿Prefiere ver The Mix en español? No se lo pierda. La versión en español del programa está disponible bajo la lista de reproducción El Condado Informado en el canal oficial de YouTube del Condado de Yuma. Gracias por acompañarnos. We'll see you next time.
Moving on to consent calendar. The following items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion unless a board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. And we have items 1 through 13. Anybody wants to pull out an item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve items 1 through 13.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second to approve consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to discussion and action items. The board will open each of the following items separately for discussion and action as appropriate. And I'll jump to item number 2. The chairman will appoint a designee to serve on the State of Arizona Biosolids Study Committee. And on this appointment will be, if she accepts, Supervisor Pancrazy.
Yes, I will accept. And Supervisor Lyons has said he'll back me up with
if she's unable.
Yeah, if I'm unable to attend a meeting.
And one of the things that I would say, Supervisor Pancrazy, I mean, that we definitely need more control at our local level. I think they need to know that that the counties should know or should have the authority to limit what comes in and the amount that comes into our counties.
I agree.
mean, so if that message is, loud, and let them know that I think you have Yuma County behind you.
So.
I would like to, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make sure that this is part of our referral at CSA, as we just discussed with Craig, going into our meeting this fall.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Going back to, I know we've attempted it once.
We
asked for it again, but I'd like to ask for it again.
Yes.
And get some other counties to support us this time.
Agreed.
So just as we heard CSA for the folks that don't know, our Yuma County residents, CSA does really fight for the counties. There's a lot that goes on that the public is not aware, but we definitely partner up with other counties and try to get legislation to our legislators, but it all depends on them if they want to pass it or not.
Persuade the legislators.
Yes. But we definitely keep in contact with them and try to, this is something that's been going on for a while. So now that a committee is going to be formed, hopefully our voice it's louder there. Thank you, Lynn, for accepting. Yeah. Do we need a motion on this?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we appoint Lynn to the Arizona Biosolid Study Committee, and I will serve as her backup.
I'll second that. All those there's a motion and a second to appoint Supervisor Pancrase to the State of Arizona Biosolid Study Committee. In a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Go get him, Lynn.
Thank you. I have a comment.
Yes.
I have a meeting with.
You can't back down now.
No, I'm not. I have a meeting with the state attorney's office, one of their representatives, this next week, concerning biosolids. So I'm on it. So.
All right.
You know that we don't take anything.
I agree. I'd love to be able to do that. I've been trying.
All right.
And we'll keep trying. Huh, Tyler?
Moving on to item number 3, discussion and possible action related to the remaining county building CIP projects. And morning.
This is Jose Quesada. I'm with Yuma County Engineering, Building CIP Manager. I'm here to seek guidance and direction on the ongoing building CIP projects. In addition, I'm proposing a budget realignment for the building CIP projects being discussed. For the presentation, I would like to add that there are multiple topics to cover and many supporting slides, and I will try to get through the presentation quickly so that we have more time at the end. I will be skipping through some slides as they are there for reference only. The meeting will present the following topics. The first topics provide supporting information for the final slide, and the final slide will present the proposed realigned budget and allow for the Board of Supervisors discussion and guidance. This is just a quick list of projects that have been recently completed in the last year. And then I'm also providing here a table with some available office space. And these are the 4 projects that will be discussed. I think a quick note is for the recorder's office renovation. Out of their budget, $600,000 were provided by the recorder's office. Now I would like to move on to the recorder's office project. You can see kind of the proposed facade. And the project essentially has 2 purposes. The first purpose is to replace the building systems. And I would like to highlight that the project cost increased because there's a large amount of indirect scope that is required to complete the building systems replacement scope. And the secondary purpose is to implement logistical improvements to the early voting, voters registrations, and recorder services by redesigning the floor plan. The redesigned floor plan is shown on this slide. It features a much larger and efficient early voting center with segregated services. This allows for a more secure and efficient operation. The project is progressing, and we are looking to continue the project by requesting funding based on a vendor-based budget for construction. The proposed budget is slightly over $3 million with a deficit of $929,500. The reason for the deficit is that the building system replacement total scope and the professional services amount are much higher than what was originally budgeted for this project. As you may recall, the building renovation was originally for public fiduciary. In addition, I would like to highlight that the funds provided by the Recorder's Office covers the floor plan redesign costs for professional services and construction. Additionally, if the project proceeds as proposed, we expect to be move-in ready by February, March of next year, but we're hoping to do it sooner. Next, I would like to cover the Public Defender Consolidation Renovation Project. The purpose of the project is to consolidate the public defender under one building. Currently, a portion of Public Defender has been leasing for 3 years at the Main Street location. In addition, the project proposal includes moving conflict administrator to the old school superintendent building to release their office space at the Public Defender building. The proposed floor plan allows for the added staff that will be moving in from the Main Street floor plan, and this is at the 145 South 2nd Avenue location. It includes a small lobby, and it also features a client and attorney secure meeting room. The project design and construction documents are complete and are ready to be submitted to the City of Yuma for permitting. The proposed project budget is based on vendor quotes for owner-provided services and an architect's estimate for the construction. To continue this project, funds will be required. The proposed budget is $690,000 with a deficit of $390,000. Some background information. Earlier this year, the project was proposed in lieu of extending a 3-year lease at the Main Street location. At the time, a concept was quickly developed without professional services guidance, and a simple floor plan concept was selected. An architect was engaged, and at the start of the design, it was noted that the storage rooms intended for the repurpose as offices were very small, had low ceilings, and one had a raised floor. So the architect suggested an alternative to make the project a possibility, but resulted in higher construction costs. If we continue as proposed, we expect to be move-in ready also by February, March of next year. Next, I would like to cover the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension Project, and below is a rendering. The primary purpose of this project is to provide the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension with office space. As a result of this project, the health department will be able to occupy the space used by the U of A and repurpose it for nursing. The proposed floor plan and site plan are shown. The layout is the same layout as previously presented. Currently, the design of the project is complete and is submitted to the county for permitting. An architect's based estimate has been achieved at 100% design. I would like to highlight that the project design is now very basic and stripped down with a goal to meet the budget. The square footage and number of rooms has not been changed. In addition, we have met with Director Russ Engel from the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension and with Chief Facilities and Planning Officer Josh Wright from the University of Arizona. They have reviewed the plans and provided value engineer recommendations for cost reductions. The results concluded in a total cost reduction of $686,000, and we are in alignment with the U of A on removing project alternates and implementing value engineered recommendations. The newly proposed budget is $6 million, with a deficit of $500,000 on the original $5.5 million budget. But the deficit is for the owner's contingency amount. It is very probable that the project will be within budget once the project goes through the competitive bidding phase for construction. Additionally, if we continue with the proposed plan, we expect to have the building ready by the end of December 2027. Now I would like to move on to the facilities management and ITS project. This is a snapshot of a slide from a board session from over 2 years ago. At the time, the original location of the project was at Avenue B, where facilities management and ITS are currently located. During this session, the budget was reduced from $18 million to $10.2 million to achieve the reduced project budget. So public fiduciary was removed from the scope. The warehouses, shop, and covered equipment parking was deferred, and the scope included minimal site improvements. The plan changed to construct a facility at 5.5E next to Public Works due to the large scope of moving departments around for construction at the Avenue B location. Currently, the concept for this project is complete. It includes an administration building, a warehouse, parking, and security fencing. And before proceeding any further, we have performed some internal cost estimates based on previous county projects with competitive pricing. And essentially, the takeaway is that the cost of this project will exceed the current budget by at least 2 times. So in order to proceed, funding will be required. Up next, I would like to discuss a few alternatives that can be further investigated to maintain the facilities management and ITS project at the current budget. The first option is a repurpose of the 198 South Main Street building for information technology services and perhaps public defender, and potentially continue the use of the Board of Supervisors room for training. The other option is to potentially expand and remodel the Avenue B building, the DDS and engineering building, to include ITS. The remodel includes the use of unused workstations in that building, and the expansion would be for the remainder of the department. The final option includes using the Avenue B location for both or either departments, with potentially having to defer warehouse, shop, covered parking, and most likely include minimal site improvements. Finally, I would like to present the realigned budget as well as a list of topics for which board guidance is required. This table summarizes the total realigned budget and shows a total difference required just over 1.8 million. The proposal is to use available contingency in the construction projects fund to realign the budget for the Recorder's Office renovation, Public Defender consolidation renovation, and the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension projects, which means increasing the budget for the Recorder's Office project by $929,500 to a new total of slightly over $3 million. Increase the budget for the Public Defender consolidation project by 390,000 to a new total of 690,000. Increase the budget for the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension project by 500,000 to a new total of 6 million. And now with the facilities management and information technology services, one option is to continue with the plan at the 5.5 feet location at Public Works and find funding and revise the design to meet a hypothetical budget. Or to abandon the current effort and further develop alternatives with comprehensive scopes and budgets to be reviewed at a future Board of Supervisors session. I would like to open the presentation for discussion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not too excited about any of it.
What is about to discuss? I think once certain construction starts and see where we can save there, because it just seems to, every time we talk about a project, it's more, the number keeps increasing.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we're seeing on average roughly 33% increases in the construction industry costs year after year. I believe that's roughly accurate, pretty close.
One of the things that and I've talked to Ian about this, but it seems like every time we talk about we're gonna do new construction, all of a sudden there's a design, and then it's in front of us, and they want us to go with that design. That firm already has the budget and everything of what we're gonna spend, and it seems to me like that's an advantage of someone and taking advantage of us because they already know. I mean, I think I would like to see from now on every new construction that we're gonna talk about
Before
anybody sees it, or you give it, I don't care if it's free, they give you a free design and then they'll charge you or charge us. I think we need to have him in front so we can ask questions, because that way
yes,
we select and we let them know this is what we're gonna spend, either you want it or not. Because I think that's how they take advantage of us, and they just give us a number because they know what we already talked about, how much we're gonna spend.
well, and then, Mr. Chairman, after the fact, coming back and asking us for more money to make up the deficiencies in their budgets. So I'd like to see a different approach.
And you know, what we have already, that's fine, but I think moving forward, I would like to see that before, I don't wanna see a design already done, that someone, a preliminary design, and, you know, so we can do then, no.
And we understand you're just a messenger. Mr. Chairman, we've spent a tremendous amount of time in the U of A Cooperative Extension, and we've set aside and allocated, and they've been moved around, and they've been patient with us. If we're gonna prioritize anything here, because it's a mandate by state statute, I think we need to take a look at the U of A Cooperative Extension first and then prioritize everything else behind that.
I like to say something about the IT project. I mean, I understand that, but IT is the future. It's the present and the future. IT, information technology, has become an issue that we have to watch very carefully, because one misstep on that IT section and we'll be paying for it badly. And we've had an experience before. So I'd like to say that given the priority list, I understand that the University Extension is number one, but I would suggest that the IT building be looked at, or the IT section be looked at pretty closely, because to me, that's very important. It's like this building. And the more time it takes, the longer, the more it will consume money. So if we had to prioritize projects, I would say that the University of Arizona Extension is number one, and then we'd have the IT building. We have to look at that. And it's just not the building, it's just the way that the IT is growing so much, and it's not being paid attention to as much as I care about it.
And perhaps the supervisors can be a little bit more involved in the consideration of some of the other assets that we have already on the books. Rather than being told it's insufficient, we'd like the opportunity to meet with some of the directors directly and ask them what they can work with in the meantime, rather than being directed to do so by staff.
I'd like to say something about the recorder's office renovation. I mean, that's created by the recorder himself, and he's got a budget to do that, $1 million budget. But that's because he doesn't want to come into this building, and that's his decision himself alone. So the recorder's office, I think we ought to take it out of the projects because I think it's covered by whatever funding they get from the legislature directly. Or are we talking about something else?
Mr. Chairman, just to comment on that, Mr. Lara has committed at least $600,000 of that $1 million toward this project.
But,
Maybe up to 700 if I'm remembering correctly.
I'm talking about the need to do it. I mean, do we need to do that? Do we need to renovate his building? Or do we need to renovate, period?
Yeah,
Or are we doing it because he wants to be in some other place?
There was a facilities assessment done. There would have had to have been some work done had the public fiduciary gone in there. And so, and Jose, please correct me if this isn't accurate, but my understanding is when it was determined for the recorder to stay there, there were some additional costs related to that he picked up the tab on to the tune of roughly 600 to 700,000.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, we had already approved and budgeted that we were gonna
Do some improvements.
improve that building because of the fiduciary was gonna go in there, so that was already allocated. It's just a matter, the thing is that they tell you, the firms tell you one thing, you know, it's gonna cost, and then all of a sudden it's 33% more.
129.
So, I think we just need to start getting stricter with them and have them up here and say, you know, this is what we got.
More of a discussion.
Yeah.
More of a discussion in a public forum, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know, we had a ribbon cutting at the health department. By the way, thanks to the supervisors that attended, but, you know, I personally told Ian, do not invite any of the architects or whoever, you know, or the construction company, because they told us one thing when they were here, and then all of a sudden the price went up. So I'm not gonna be giving them any thanks to them if they start, you know, when they change the price on us. So, and I think we need to start sending that message more, that they give us a price or we'll have them in front and we'll go from there.
Yep.
Because it's getting, you know, now everybody's just using, oh, well, everything's going up. Yeah, everything's going up. I mean, obviously, can we wait on this and see when they start construction or when they start working on this and see where can we save or how? I mean, I wouldn't want to make a decision right now.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we table this and revisit it.
I'll second that.
I think we ought to start with
Pending additional
prioritizing.
discussions,
I'll
looking
second
at the
that.
additional assets that we have already on the books, the building that we vacated. I think there's a couple of assets that we can take a look at right now in order to reallocate.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to clarify, but I think you answered my question. I had heard that the cooperative extension would be the top priority, but you're not ready to make any action related to that. You're just want more information on the total presentation at this point.
Yeah, once they start construction, see if we need to cut or whatever we can save on things, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, on the U of A particularly, we have budget to bid that project out. And as Jose mentioned, the $500,000 would be to cover a contingency for construction. So once we get bids back and come back to you and ask to award that, we'll have a hard number and be able to tell you, you know, what kind of a contingency we would need to be comfortable with. So it may be reduced from that 500.
I'll go back to my earlier comment. Even though we've got a motion on the table right now, is that we proceed with the U of A with the hard bids and the 500,000 contingency, subject to our discretion post-bid.
And I'll second that amendment to his
Okay,
Motion.
I'm fine.
there's a motion and a second to actually table this item and what Jonathan Supervisor Line said.
Except for,
You want to read that back to us? Do you know what I'm saying?
You gonna read that backwards?
Okay, first and foremost, I had mentioned that we ought to prioritize the U of A building because we've been talking about that for a very long time. And our original intent and our original discussion was that we were not going to make any adjustments at the health department until U of A was taken care of. We didn't do that.
So we do that first.
So we need to do that first to be able to keep our word.
Go ahead and table the rest.
I agree. And table the rest.
So we would like to receive the bids on the U of A Cooperative Extension. $500,000 contingency as noted, subject to Board of Supervisors approval based upon the bids. And for the rest of this to be tabled and studied with additional information.
Where's
Second
Fund
that.
0406? The contingency fund. Which fund are we talking about?
All
Are
those
we
in
talking about the
favor?
supervisors fund, or are you talking about the contingency fund in general? When you said
Gonna withdraw.
the contingency fund from Fund 0406.
Yeah, and I withdraw my previous
Is that the big
motion.
one?
There you go.
That's the construction budgets fund. I think that's the one where the administration building came from.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that's the overall building CIP fund, so that's where the contingency would come from.
Okay.
I wanted
So
to know
that-
that.
Okay, so that first
So
and
the
second
first
motion,
part
all
is-
those in favor say aye.
I'm in favor of the first motion, yes, and I'm in favor of the second motion, yes.
Aye.
Aye.
And
Any
I withdrew my,
opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I withdrew my previous motion.
Yes,
That's all clear,
right.
right?
Got it.
we got it? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4. Presentation and update on the current allocation and status of the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, state and local fiscal recovery funds. Humberto.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Humberto del Castillo, Chief Financial Officer. Today I will be sharing a brief presentation on project and financial status for the ARPA projects. The county allocated $31.5 million to 19 eligible ARPA projects that we can see on this top section, and $10 million to 5 revenue loss projects for a total of $41.5 million. We will discuss the eligible projects first. In this schedule shared on the screen, we have 12 projects that have been completed. We can see the status in column C, where it says current status, and we have labeled them as ongoing and completed. 12 are in completed status, totally being expended on their adjusted budget. One project, the health services equipment, was reclassified to the section below on the revenue loss category under updated Treasury guidance. And 6 projects remain ongoing. Let's do a quick review on those ongoing projects. If whoever's on the driver's seat on the schedule on the spreadsheet, can you please scroll up to the top of the spreadsheet? Thank you. The first project, ongoing project, is the broadband middle mile project with a percentage completed of 75%. $4.5 million are estimated to complete the project. No savings or under budgeted to be expected. The second ongoing project on the list is the technical consultant. Actual amounts are $186,000, and we are not expecting to have any more actual or any more expenses on that project. That means that the project was completed at a 62% of its original 100% budgeted amount of $300,000.
Mr. Chairman, and I apologize, Humberto, what are the restrictions then with the remaining balance?
I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, I apologize for jumping ahead.
No worries.
Everybody's asking for money, and I saw some, so hey.
Yes, that's where the discussion is leading.
Really?
As a result, we have approximately $113,000 of savings in that specific project.
Raise it up. so you can see it.
130,000 as a result of
No,
savings.
13,000.
Yes. The next project on the list, engineering construction manager, is at 75% completed status. The estimated amount to complete it is $50,000, and as a result of that, we have $68,000 of savings for that project. Next on the list of ongoing projects is Orange Grove Rancho Mesa Verde sewer system, with a 50% of completed and an estimated to complete at $659,000. No savings are expected for that project. And this specific project is only sharing the ARPA funds. There's multiple funding sources for this project that are not being presented today. If we could please scroll down. Right there, thank you. Two remaining ongoing projects, NFP Safe House with the 29% completed, estimated to complete $353,000. No savings expected from that project. And the last project on the list is DRS LLC Grant Management Consultant with a 37% completed, estimated to complete $26,000. No savings expected. Before we start discussing the savings and potential options, I will close this brief presentation with the financial status. We discussed the project status, so now the financials, the 31.5 million budgeted for eligible projects. That is the total on the top section. 81.3% or 25.6 million have been expended. That's the column that you see under I, under the total for actual amounts. So out of our 31.5 million, we spent 81.3% or 25 million. Remaining is 18.1% on column K or 5.6 million. That is remaining to complete the 6 ongoing projects. And in our last column, column L, you see the bottom line there highlighted in yellow, 181,000. That represents 0.6% of the total budget, and those are the available funds generated through project savings. What is the result of project savings, or why do we have project savings? These come from contracts being completed below budgeted amounts and project closeouts. So today, staff is requesting authority to reallocate the savings among existing board-approved ARPA projects. So this means no new projects, no new scope or changes to the projects, only asking for authority to reallocate to projects within that list. Details on what projects would be eligible or what would be appropriate to those projects will be shared by Diana Beloz, who is joining me on this presentation. As an example, we have one recommendation that might or might not be the case. We don't know that yet. If we can click on the recommendations tab, please. This is to show you what that option would look like. If we were to allocate the approximate savings for 181,000 to the broadband middle project, this is how it would look like. The other option or the flexibility we're asking for the board is to determine, if we go back to the status tab, please, and scroll up, to determine if we could allocate those funds available in any of the ongoing existing projects that need additional funding. As of right now, that information for us is not available because projects are still either on a 50% completed. The only one that we're close to complete is the broadband middle mile, and there might be additional budget needed. We are evaluating that situation currently. For questions, specific questions on project phases or details, also Diana Beloz can provide additional information. That concludes this section of the presentation. Does the board have any questions?
I do. Let me see. You're an accountant, so when you have a completed project that was supposed to cost $420,000, but it costs $312 and it's 100% complete, how do you determine the wins and losses? How do you determine the losses if you don't put them in as wins? There's no estimation to complete, so the variance, positive or negative, should be what, 312 to 420? $110,000, $108,000. Where do you record that?
What project
Up on
are
top?
you looking at?
I'm
Supervisor
looking
Reyes?
at the
Tony,
new
the-
FTE program manager, completed. We approved 420, that's what it says on this. We only spent 312, 365. The actual amount is 312, 365. It's 100% completed, but I don't see it as a positive variance or a negative variance. I don't see anything. And the same thing happens to the, what is it, which one that I saw that was the same way? That's one. The other one that's completed is Somerton Housing Department, which was 100% completed. There was another one that I saw that had a difference, but I don't see it reflected. Oh, there we go. The surface between, that's the completed project. We set up $1.2 million. It came out at 195,956. It's 100% completed, but I don't see it as a variance, positive or negative on the other side. So what happens then?
Very good question, Supervisor Reyes. If you can see on column G, budgeted adjustments, that's the original budget in December 2nd, 2024. After that meeting, during Board of Supervisor meetings,
We adjusted.
the budgeted adjusted amount in column H is the result of board's decision to reallocate those funds. So
I
that
see.
variance you're asking to see was already presented to the board in previous meetings, and the board made the
I see
decision
now.
to reallocate.
So we did a budget adjustment.
Yes,
and
that is
it
correct.
reflected 100% of what was spent, and that was it. There was no variance. It was only estimated to completion.
Exactly.
Okay,
For
got it.
example, on the next status meeting, we're going to see the second project titled Technical Consultant. We're not going to see a 62% there right now because recently we concluded the project is completed. It came in at a 62% of the 100% budgeted amount. So on the next presentation, we will see 100% there, and the board will provide the guidance on what to do with those 113,000.
So you're asking us either to put it in one of the ongoing projects, which would be the budget broadband middle mile, or any other project that isn't completed yet that needs an adjustment, a budget adjustment.
That is correct.
But you're not telling us where. You're just simply suggesting that we do that. And with the broadband middle mile, which is a project that we didn't adjust, is an $18,700,000 project, which we need a report on that. We just can't set another $881,000 on that budget and then have it come out like you'll lead it up, because they'll know that there's another $181,000 available. So I think we need to, it's fine. I understand what you're trying to do, but I think that it's a little premature to set aside. I think we have those $181,000 to deal with budget overruns, but I don't know where to put them yet. So that would be my position right now, that we need to take some time and digest where we put them. Because when we put them, they'll find out. They meaning all the people that tell us how much to spend on every project.
So we still need to hear from.
Yes, there's
Pardon?
the
Yeah.
second part of the
There's a second part of
presentation, and that's going to be discussed.
And just a question, you know, when the reason, or when Orange Grove got put in there, I mean, maybe I'm going crazy, but it was a lot more money than that. Because I tell you what, when all of a sudden on the agenda we saw that I saw that the sewer and water project for GYPA, that was over $2 million. That's when I said, wait a minute, you know, that was not. I mean, that's totally separate. You know, that's private. And we gave him money, and that's when I brought up, as you know, we're trying. I mean, Orange Grove. And I know, Diana, you're gonna probably explain, but I mean that amount. I mean, seeing, and I know we got a loan, or it's gonna be treated as a loan, but I thought we had a lot more money than that. And it's just, you know, where did it go? I hope I can find out, because I was, unless I'm going crazy, but
Well, so it's supposed to be the study.
no, it doesn't matter, but it was a lot more money.
Oh, it's
Before
18
I
million bucks.
approved, or at least my vote that went to GYPA, if not, that money would have been allocated for somewhere else.
It's my understanding, Mr. Chairman, that there's additional funding sources for that project, and I can research.
It doesn't matter. There was a certain amount of money that we, when we made that decision, that it was gonna go to Orange Grove. And there was a lot more, I remember, there was a lot more than that. I just wanna make sure that everybody's aware of that, and that, go ahead, Dan, I'm just kinda, I was just shocked about that. I thought there was still a lot more money there.
I thought we had some additional grants.
I think it was USDA.
I know that we had a grant from WIFA for a portion of the water system there, right? And USDA and a couple of others, didn't we?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Diana Veloz with County Administration, Grants
Get a little
Division.
closer to the mic.
Yes, you're right. We do have more funding for that. ARPA funds in this situation, this is for final design. You set aside $1.5 million for final design.
So the rest is
The
not
ARPA
included in
funding-
here.
Within the ARPA funding, there was also a $7 million set aside for, but it was a little bit different, the way that got calculated. That money is in the CIP fund for the Orange Grove Rancho Mesa Verde project. That $7 million is in there.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's still there?
Yes, sir, it's still
Oh, okay, yeah, that's because I said.
And if you'd like, I can come and present for Orange Grove Rancho Mesa Verde and show you all the funding sources for that as well.
Okay.
That's all right.
It's just ARPA, this is just final design, what we're looking at right now.
Okay.
Yes, if there's not any more questions, that concludes this section of the presentation. And,
Mr. Chairman, could I just jump in for a second and ask if Supervisor Simmons, could you please just say a couple of words to make sure that we are hearing you, please?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we can hear you.
Okay.
We knew you were there all the time, Supervisor Simmons.
Well, I was trying to say something on a couple of earlier presentations, and I wasn't getting through, I don't think.
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. I just want to make sure, especially for a couple of the ones coming up.
All right.
Now, it's 181 adjustment that you want us to make as soon as we can, so that you'll balance out everything else. And you want us to take a look at the projects that are ongoing and see which ones we can set those 181,000 on, right?
that is correct.
Okay.
And there was one that was qualified.
Excuse me?
And then there's three recommendations there, so, that are,
You recommended three. You recommended the middle mile, and you recommended two more. I just don't remember which they are. So wrap it up, move it up. Who's controlling this? Who's controlling the presentation? Oh, there you go. There's one, it's a middle mile. What are the other two?
Supervisor Reyes, this spreadsheet only shows one recommendation for the broadband middle mile project, but the status shows the rest of the ongoing projects that could possibly receive the additional funding. And that's what we're asking to the board, for that flexibility.
I don't want to give I don't want to make the broadband mile be any higher than it is right now until we get a little report.
Tony, Mr. Chairman, we did have some additional costs that we needed to cover in being able to connect the towers
to the broadband.
That's outside the scope of the project?
Because of the placement of those towers, that was not included in the initial approach to.
Oh, so that's what you're trying to cover. You're trying to cover additional costs.
A portion of it, yeah. Because we're going to have to go down in the rural
Is
areas.
the Somerton Tower?
Somerton, San Luis. Well, yeah, there's 32 towers total, 24 right now.
But is that part of the broadband mile?
It is part of the overall connection of those two, because the towers are going to be run off.
I thought the towers was a separate project, and the state was covering.
It was separate funding, but then you've got to connect those two together.
I get it.
I'd say if we could use them for the towers, that would be great, so we could finish that project up.
It's still going to be broadband middle mile,
Broadband middle mile.
but it's just providing a connection to our towers in a different location based upon the recommendation of the engineers for coverage, because the initial design and the placement of the towers was flawed. It was pulled back and it was restudied with additional information about the broadcasting or the radios, and then the placement was reallocated, and so we're just covering a little bit of that. Do I have that correct, Josh?
Through the broadband?
Yeah,
But
Mr.
isn't
Chairman,
there-
that's correct, yes.
But isn't there money left? I mean, if we just put it in that budget, it will use up. I mean, isn't there a way to cover that cost without adjusting the budget yet? I mean, isn't there still some money to be spent on that project?
On the middle mile or getting the middle mile
The middle
extended to
mile,
the towers?
because this is going to the middle mile project. It says broadband middle mile.
It's really
Now,
going to.
I know what it is to cover now. What I'm asking is, okay, isn't there money left that is going to cover that? I mean, isn't providing additional money to that funding something that it's a little premature?
We're in the process of finalizing construction of Phase 3 on the middle mile, and projections show that it's going to be pretty close to the allocated budget, so.
The projections are always.
Well, if there's a savings,
But he's an engineer, you can trust him.
That's what we say all the time. That's how we get those budgets going up, because they know how much money they're going to use.
Remember, there's only certain things that are qualified.
I don't have a project. If broadband mile is so close to now that we know that we're gonna need this money in that budget, that would be okay with me. But I mean, I thought we had like $5 million left to spend. So putting this money there, it just goes against what we just said earlier, which is anytime they know they have this money to spend, they'll spend it, normally. Now and then we adjust the budget when they don't. So do we know that yet? And from what you said, Scott, we do. We're pretty close to ending the Phase 3 project, which is covering up most of the $5 million.
Yes, and that would be our backbone middle mile, but to extend fiber from that backbone to the towers, to expand that middle mile network.
I understand that. Scott, I understand that. But what I'm saying is,
It's just tying our two projects together, Tony.
I get it. I just wanted to see how far we were from completion of the broadband mile. So if we're ready to make that decision, we can make that decision now to move the $181,000 that we have from the other projects that we save on the other projects to this project. If we're at that stage where we need to know how much money we have to cover the connection of those towers to the broadband system. Now, I thought that the towers were a separate project, but now I see that to connect those two projects is important, because without the middle mile, they will have no connection to any service. So I understand that. I just thought it was a little premature to put the money in there and let them know that we have that money to spend. It's probably more than that to connect the towers, but it's a step in the right direction to me. So.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we allocate that $181,697.
Excuse me.
To the broadband.
Supervisor Lyons,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
I'll second the
As of
motion.
now, that's the amount, 181,000. Could we go back to the status tab, please?
There could be more.
And then, these are just projections. We don't know yet if the ongoing projects will result in any additional savings. So those 181,000 might be 200,000 next month.
Wait,
Or
do
they
you need
leave
a,
it.
Or less.
Do we need a
make a motion for a blanket
do we
amount
need a
or
decision
based
today?
on projected
It doesn't need
savings
to
or
be
projected?
done today.
Can we make a
So, okay,
motion?
so we don't need a decision today, but pretty much we know where that money is gonna go.
Okay. We'll revisit it then.
Yeah.
How's that?
So
Yeah,
when
any,
you're
like,
a little
when
more sure that we're gonna
unused
need
portions would go
181,000,
to.
we'll get it,
We're not sure.
okay? Or whatever.
Diana, continue the
The middle
presentation.
mile.
And
Were you prepared for this, Humberto? All right.
You're leaving,
the second
you're
part,
leaving
but
us.
for the status, yeah.
Chicken.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
And all the other staff are laughing.
what is what is happening right now is we are getting ready to finalize our quarterly report, which is due July 31st. That report needs to have those whatever savings we have, we need to report them then. And that's why we would like the motion of the 180,000 that's remaining right now. But within the agenda item, within the summary, the deadline for all this money to be spent is December 31st of 2026.
Right.
So what I was hoping is for the board to hopefully make a decision on where they would like to see those funds, what projects they would like to see those funds in. As of right now, the actual technical consultant is estimated the engineering construction manager is estimated at 50,000, but I don't know if that estimate is going to be under or over. Same thing with the Orange Grove Rancho Mesa sewer project. I don't know if that estimate, that 659 that's left, is going to be over or under. So what if the Orange Grove needs the extra additional funding from those 50,000? I would like to be able to move that funding in there if it's needed. Or vice versa, if the Middle Mile needs the money, I'd like to be able to move it in there with, of course, your direction. And it wouldn't be staff making the decision necessarily. It would be us taking it to the county administrator, showing the county administrator, the justification and the facts as to why we need to move that funding, and for him to be making the decision of being able to put that money in one of those projects as the board has directed.
So right now, though, you just want a motion on the 181, correct? Or do you want just
Postpone it until we know.
Sorry on the rest?
The motion that they're asking for is to allow all the unused funds from other projects to be able to be moved to projects that are exceeding what was estimated for them with the approval of the county administrator.
Okay, let me get this straight. What you're saying is don't move all the money to the broadband, leave some, because in case the budget doesn't work out, the budget, you will have access to some of those funds. Is that correct?
It's as the board directs. If you want it all to go to the broadband Middle Mile, then that's what we'll do. But as I'm saying is the actual engineering construction manager, that's not completed yet. We're estimating that at 50,000, we might need to move some money back in there, or there might be some savings in there.
Are we not going to have another meeting before or after you finalize that report? To be able to make a concrete recommendation?
We'll probably be here again.
Soon.
So how about, okay, this is what they recommended, okay? Authorize the reallocation of available savings from completed projects to broadband packages or among existing approved projects. That's my motion.
Yeah.
Yes,
Would that work, Diana?
that would work.
Second.
With the approval of our county administrator?
Yes.
Well, that's item A. There's still C, B, and C.
Okay.
So who has the final say, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve
All
item
right, I'll second that motion.
Okay, there's a motion and a second
A.
to authorize the reallocation of available savings from completed projects to broadband projects or among existing approved projects. There's,
Motion is second.
there's, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next motion is authorize the reclassification of eligible category projects under the revenue loss expenditure category and authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any required written justification and related documentation necessary to classify projects in accordance with applicable U.S. Department of the Treasury guidance.
I'll second that motion. Who makes that motion? You made that motion?
You've got to make the motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to approve what I read.
B and C.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you,
so
Dan.
much.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
So we make you sweat a little.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Humberto.
Moving on to planning and zoning agenda. Full legal descriptions of property sites for the rezoning case are available for public review at the Yuma County Board of Supervisors office. Rezoning regular public hearing items, staff will make a full presentation on each of the following items, followed by separate discussion, public hearing, and action by the Board of Supervisors. Item number 1, discussion and concerning a possible text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance revision section 202.00, definitions section 1102.02, setback exceptions, and section 1106.02, setbacks.
Is this yours, Supervisor Simmons? I think he's wanted to set up an 8-foot easement or side.
Yeah.
He's on the phone, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
So would you make a motion and we can do this quickly, or we can take it slow? We can have a presentation.
Let staff present a little bit, or
Present.
Richard Munguia, Senior Planner. The purpose of this discussion is to obtain direction from the board whether or not to move forward with the proposed changes. And the intent is to amend the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow for a limited side yard setback exception for specific structures. Staff did research other jurisdictions, and we found the following. Most notably, the city of Yuma does permit a 3-foot side yard setback. The proposed changes are shown below. Strike through is going to be deleted. Text that's proposed to be added is in bold. It's going to have a whole new definition for a residential vehicle shade structure. And
Where
then
do we
we're
get
going
the
to,
feedback? Where do I keep hearing the presentation? Is it sound system?
Supervisor Simmons, it's coming through on his phone.
Zero.
You getting feedback?
A little bit.
okay, so the residential vehicle shade structure with the fabric canopy or aluminum steel roof covering can project into the side yard and may be located as 0-foot side yard setback. That's the proposed text.
So you want to change the text for this particular item, which is okay with me, but, I mean, do you actually want to make that change, or do you want to require a permit? No, I'm talking to Simmons. Do you actually want to change the text? The setback text?
Mainly what I'm looking for is change. I don't want to change the fact that we need a permit for it. It's just on the side shade structure that we do away with the setbacks, but it has to be open through to the back, and you could have a shade down the side, just more or less for protecting their vehicles. And then, but it has to have drainage also. Drainage cannot go onto adjacent property, so they would have to have some sort of drainage to keep it on their property.
Right. So you're requesting a change to the text, really, that
Yeah.
applies to everybody.
But
And
I
nobody has to get a permit.
let staff finish, and then we can, because I think staff is recommending something else, so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So we did receive a comment from one concerned citizen in opposition. They cited various concerns here. Building safety did comment as well. They're concerned that allowing shade structures at a 0 side yard setback would create life safety risks because it does eliminate fire separation distance, may involve combustible materials, and often places vehicles and RVs with fuel and electrical hazards directly against neighboring properties.
But don't they do that already now? If they park an RV in there without a shade structure, there's still no change to that.
And they are combustible materials.
Correct. So this is a site plan showing a structure with a 3-foot side yard setback provided by building safety. And this has a fire rating attached to it. It identifies it's I believe it's a cloth or canopy with fire separation or fire rating. These are some photos that the deputy zoning inspectors have taken of structures with a 0-foot setback. Staff is recommending returning this item to the Planning and Zoning Commission to initiate a text amendment. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay.
So does anybody want to talk for or against this?
I have a speaker form, so, but
Okay.
I'll have any questions from the board?
So you want to take this back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their analysis, right? And then have a recommendation from them come back to us as a recommendation so we can make a decision. Is that what you want? More time, basically?
We're requesting to move forward with a text amendment. It already went to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and now it's here for your discussion.
Okay, well,
If you would like to make changes, then we're open to that as well.
Mr. Simmons,
Well, my concern.
Go ahead.
My concern is one that we make sure that this is strictly for shade structures. It doesn't change anything when it comes to regular structures that may be built. You know, they still have to have the regular setbacks.
That's correct. This adds a definition for a residential vehicle shade structure, which is a narrowed scope structure and identifies what it should be.
Yeah, with proper drainage as well as, you know, a fire retardant material to where we can ensure that there's, you know, no spread of any fire. And like I said, and it's open through, it's not an enclosed structure.
That's correct.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else?
It identifies that if it's attached to the principal building, then it can only be enclosed on that side. But if it is a detached structure, it's got to be open on all sides.
Okay. Any other questions for staff?
This also does not include side walls, side panels, or anything like that. And I know Supervisor Simmons requested possibly one side to be allowed.
Darren, do you want to make the motion?
No, I have a
Oh, you
speaker
have a
form
speaker?
that I'll
somebody.
I'll call Dave Wiley.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Members. I reside in Country Roads, which is Country Roads RV Village is a community of about 1,200 tax-paying property owners in Yuma. And years ago, we were allowed to have zero clearance shade structures, and then we weren't. And now with a 3-foot structure, most of us can't have any protection for our vehicles at all because the driveways border right on the property line. And a zero setback would be a blessing for all of us. The price of cars and vehicles nowadays at $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. We need to protect the damn things from our lovable Yuma sun. And I would urge you to please consider this, make it so, and move it along so we can go out and buy shade structures. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other comment? The public, all right, bring it back to the board.
Okay. Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If there's no other questions, I'd like a motion that we approve the changes as made and forward it back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their approval.
Make a motion to that effect?
I'll second that.
All right, there's a motion and a second to return this item to the Planning Commission to initiate a text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, special use permit case number 26-02.
Richard Munguia, Senior Planner. This is a request to allow a special use permit to allow a marijuana establishment located on light industrial parcel within the 75 decibel noise zone and partially located within the APZ1. It is at the northeast corner of Avenue 3E and 32nd Street. The subject property is identified by the crosshatch in red, and it's zoned RA10, light industrial. Blue is also light industrial in the surrounding area there. Green is heavy industrial, and the gray is the city of Yuma. This is the site plan provided by the applicant. It shows that the building is located outside of the APZ1, with the parking located within the APZ1, and access is shown off of Avenue 3E. This is an aerial photo of the property. Comments were received in opposition by the city of Yuma. The Marine Corps also provided a late letter, which should be included in your packets. 2 letters in opposition came from property owners within the notification radius. Parcel 14 identifies as an educational facility, which is the Yuma Trucking School. Staff received the 2 letters. Those 2 letters amount to 20% by number and 18% by area, which does not trigger a supermajority vote requirement for approval. Staff is recommending approval of this request, and I'm available for questions, subject to these conditions here.
Oh,
Concludes my report.
Any questions? You're done with the presentation?
Correct.
Any questions for staff? No? I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anybody from?
Chair, Supervisors, for your record, Lindsay Shuby with the law firm of Gamage and Burnham, 40 North Central, Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you very much for hearing us today. You've had a long morning, so I will make this a brief presentation, but just wanted to add a little bit more onto what staff presented. With me also is Michelle Santoro and Stacy from STK Construction, and they will just add a couple comments as well, or Stacy will. As staff showed, the aerial is actually a little deceptive. This is a wildly difficult parcel to develop. They have right in, right out only, as well as many easements. Therefore, that's why this property has been vacant for so long. We represent the potential tenant, the potential buyer, and I truly struggle with what this property owner is going to do in terms of a more compatible use. So I do believe this use is compatible at this site. A little bit about, and I can answer more questions, again, I'm going to keep it brief. As we all know, the medical marijuana program was approved in 2010. And that approved 130 medical marijuana licenses. In 2020, that was the legalization of recreational marijuana. With that came 13 county licenses. We just called them the out parcel county licenses. The license we're talking about today has the ability, but also the restriction of staying in Yuma in perpetuity. So this license will remain in Yuma County. So this is a relocation. I think that's also very important. This is not a new dispensary that is coming to Yuma County. This is simply a relocation from another dispensary that's currently 5 miles away. One thing that's interesting, I am pretty anti-regulation. I commend you all on your challenges with the budgets and what stewards you are of taxpayer dollars. It's been very interesting to watch this morning. But I will say the marijuana program is highly regulated. We only have 169 licenses in the entire state. Most of them, I would say almost all of them, are located in where they are, and I just can't stress enough. This is a retail business that is permitted by law and simply a relocation. As you may know, there was a special use permit approved down the road from here that this board approved a couple years ago. It has since expired, so there is no opportunity of having two next to each other. I also, before I just get into the test, want to remind the board this is not a rezone. We are in compliance with the comprehensive plan and the regional plan, not asking for a rezone request. All we're asking is for a relocation of an existing dispensary, assuming we meet the test. Right before I hit the test, again, just this site plan. Gosh, this is a hard site to develop. Also, if I may, this does have a amendment to it from the one staff showed you in response to comments from the Marine Corps as being neutral at the Planning and Zoning Commission. They asked that we recognize the railroad spur from the U.S. Navy land. We have already made that and have committed to that protection. As you can also see, there is the blue easement area as well as that AZP1. Not only is the location of the building prohibited, but also the uses that are prohibited. Therefore, there are very, very limited uses that are permitted on this property. So we have recommendation of approval from staff. We have recommendation of approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission because they looked at the four-part test. What is the four-part test? Does the proposed development will not materially affect or endanger health, safety, or welfare? Again, dispensaries are safe and secure. Again, I am anti-government, not anti, well, more libertarian on government regulation, but these are very, very heavily regulated. We have 2 unannounced state inspections per year, and I will tell you that this client, Jars Cannabis, has worked with many first responders in many jurisdictions and have done things like use their camera footage for hit and runs, for different type of issues. Because of the safety and security, they have proven to be great partners. The proposed development complies with all regulations and standards. Yes, this meets all the spacing requirements and will be in compliance with not only the zoning ordinance, the laws of Yuma County, but also the state laws that are put forward. Third, the proposed development will not substantially change or materially affect the adjoining property owners. One note, as staff mentioned, there were 2 letters of opposition. One has recanted, has taken away their opposition. So if I may, I'll hand this to the clerk so she can see it. They were simply concerned about access in their easement. As soon as Stacy met with them and we confirmed they would have access to their property, they took away their opposition and are supportive of our application. And again, I would also say the site has been vacant for years. The adjacent property owners are excited to have development on the site. And last, the proposed development will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. Again, the dispensary will operate like any other retail store. It is along a major corridor. It's away from residential. Frankly, driving by it this morning, it is tucked in a little industrial corner. This will be a destination. And again, I cannot stress how difficult this property is going to be to develop. Irrelevant to the test, but I do believe it's important, and this is my last slide, and then I'll let Stacy say a few words. But my client, Jars Cannabis, again, they are located in Yuma. They do give back in every community that they're located in. They also are an employer. You know, we've all heard about data centers, about warehouses where there are no employers. They have 73% retention rate at this local dispensary in Yuma County. They provide a fabulous wage as well as benefits. So I can't think of too many retail establishments that offer benefits as well. With that, thank you very much for your time. I am here to answer any questions if you have any. I'm going to pass the microphone just to Stacy for a minute or two. Thank you for your time and able to answer any questions after you hear from Stacy.
Any questions for the applicant? I have a question. What's the purpose of moving?
What is the purpose of moving? Chair, thank you very much. To be closer to population, to be closer to a client base, to have a closer access to the 8. So as people are driving by. A better location for a retail business. It's still in an industrial pocket. And for any reason, if we are not successful today, we are going to look for another location, again, in Yuma County somewhere, because this is our home. We're very excited to be here. We really like this store, but we look forward to improving that site, to building a new retail location, to be able to increase the tax base that comes from this site, in what I believe is a very great little pocket that needs some regeneration and increase our sales and taxes for the county.
Just curious, you know, when all this permits that the state approved this, that was not taken into consideration from where you are located now?
Chair, great question. When we were allotted this county license in 2020, we did not have a location. So we did know we were going to be in Yuma County, and excited about that. We would like to move away from the California border. We'd like to be closer to the 8, and we would like to get more of the sales tax and more of the Arizona residents as they're coming across the California border.
How does Somerton feel about them moving?
All right, thank you.
Okay. Chair, is Stacy, can I introduce Stacy just to say a couple words?
Yes.
On behalf of the applicant, thank you very much.
Stacy Green with STC Construction. I wasn't going to talk today, but I figure I actually have kind of a unique perspective on this because I am a Yuma resident. I've been here for 15 years. I actually built their current facility in Somerton, so I've worked with the team and all of the procedures and processes they have to go through. They reached back out and said, hey, we want to relocate, you know, what can we do? And I know I've worked with a lot of people in the community to figure out the best place to put this, because there are a lot of restrictions as to where it can be located, how far from here, how far from there, away from residents, and this particular parcel just happened to come up as a conversation. I know there was some concerns about it, and I'll tell you my unique perspective, not only as a resident, but there was a lot of concern about the Marine Corps base, and at the planning and zoning meeting, the new liaison, Antonio, came up and actually put my mind at ease, as I have an enlisted Marine myself who's in Okinawa right now, about how they go through and they have a whole list of locations that they can and cannot be at, even down to neighborhoods. If there's a questionable neighborhood, the Marine Corps base will tell them you cannot go here. So it's clearly noted on theirs, dispensaries are an issue, and that's why the new letter that was sent over said they have no opposition one way or another in regards to this. At the same time, I know when we were looking at multiple locations, it came up the previous SUP that unfortunately was taken out by a different dispensary, and that has now lapsed. But that particular one was extremely centrally located to a lot of retail and shopping. And so I actually was a big advocate for the fact that this is close to an existing establishment. I don't normally put like by like because I want them to all have their own shot, but I like the fact that if we're going to have a dispensary, because that's what the license says, it's at least centrally located kind of by where the other dispensary is, which is 5,300 feet down the road. So it gave me some unique perspective. You know, I didn't really want it too centrally located because I myself have a high schooler still at home too. So this is why I went through all of the different, but they actually have been a very good company to work for. When we were going through the processes with the county on what do we need, I said, I need your SOP. It was in my box in 20 minutes. I need your safety reports. It's in my box in 20 minutes. They are very diligent on their reporting and their processes and everything. So I just hope that you give it a fair shot.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public that wishes to address the board? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the call to the public hearing, and bring it back to the board.
I have a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval, so I'll motion to approve. Item number 2602, permit case, 2602, motion to approve. What else do you want?
Oh, well, that's your motion.
There will be no
Special use
second?
permit, case number 2602.
There's no second, there's no second.
There's a motion to approve special use permit case number 26-02. Is there a second? All right. That fails.
Okay, for lack of a second. So is there a motion to disapprove?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we deny special use permit 26-02.
There's a motion to deny special use permit case number 26-02. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to deny special use permit case number 26-02. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay. 4-1. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3, permit case, special use permit case number 26-03.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presenting the special use permit 2603, a request per section 601.03T of the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow a solar power generating facility, battery energy storage, and associated equipment on 6 parcels that total approximately 2,005 gross acres in size. And these properties are zoned rural area 40-acre minimum, located in the Dayland East County planning area between the alignments of North County 2nd Street and North County 7th Street, and between the alignments of Avenue 58E and Avenue 59E. On the north and south sides of Palomas Road, Dayland, Arizona. The intent is to allow the construction of the Alisa 2 energy project, photovoltaic solar project, with an estimated generative capacity of 200 megawatts, and include battery energy storage. The proposed Alisa 2 SUP 2603 will replace approximately 2,005 acres currently entitled under SUP 23-19. The primary purpose of the request is to remove the 30-year time limitation established by operational condition number 10 of SUP 2319. This is the zoning and vicinity map showing the subject parcels cross-hatch. The outline in red are the limits of SUP 2319, previously approved and on its way to comply with all conditions. This is an aerial view shown in green, again, an oblique. Is the SUP, and outlined in red is the current SUP 2319. This is a site plan provided by the applicant in a broader area, showing limits on the northwest YPG, the transmission, showing the transmission lines that bisecting the property, and on the south I-8 proximity. This is a view looking southwest of the Palomas Road. We're looking southwest at the existing railroad tracks, northwest of the subject parcels from Palomas Road. Again, looking northwest, looking southwest. Staff received comments from ADET, Arizona Game and Fish Department, and Welltold Mohawk Irrigation District. Also received a comment from the Clearinghouse Aviation Operations requesting more information. One letter in support of the request from the Arizona Technology Council, and no comments received from property owners. The Planning Commission recommends approval of a special use permit case number 26-03, subject to the performance conditions listed on this slide, and the following operational conditions. 1 through 9 are the standard conditions for all the special use permits of this nature. And the commission, staff recommended didn't make a recommendation for time limits. However, the Planning Commission decided to recommend a time limit of 40 years from the date of approval by the Board of Supervisors. Mr. Chairman, I prepared a little slide so you can have a history background on what the previous special use permits have been approved. There's a few that before did not have a time limit on them. And that will be Agua Caliente, APS Hyder 1, APS Hyder 2, White Wing, McFarland, APS Solar Foothills, and Ironwood. And after the Houdini, special use permit 23-11 got withdrawn, and staff recommended a 30-year from there on. Moving on from that time, staff recommended a 30-year time limit on the future special use permits listed here.
Why do they recommend the time permit? I mean, I know financing is tough to get when you have a permit that lasts.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. After SUP 23-11 was withdrawn, there was something that resonated at the time of the Planning and Zoning Commission. The agent at the time said that solar panels have a minimum life of 30 years. So moving forward with that, kind of that resonated with staff, and kind of like that was the inclination of the commission to have a time limit on future special use permits. That's why you will see that we went with it as far as the life of solar panels. Now technology is better, but that's the reason, or the rationale why we added a 30-year time limit on future special use permits for solar.
Supervisor 23-19 is for Victoria Solar, which is this project, right?
2319, yeah, is the current zoning, a special use
No,
permit.
I'm concerned because I see their outline covering crossing the river. Is there a crossing? There's a river crossing in there?
There's let me go to the aerial really quick. There's the Hill River at the southern parcel.
Where there?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Wash, right, Javier?
Yep.
The
They
wash.
won't be able to build there. They will need to get a permit from flood control, so probably there'll be limitations.
What I'm concerned with allowing that to cross the river like that. I mean, even if it's a wash, I mean, at this time.
I think the picture is kind of deceptive there also, as far as being in the river itself.
I can see it. I can see the path, but
Javier, is
you have no
this?
concerns with that? You have no concerns about the river wash, the wash?
Yeah,
They could
there are
cover it?
concerns, and at time of the applicants, if approved, apply permits, I mean, they will need to get approval from flood control.
They're not going to
Probably-
build anything on the wash, but I understand that. But giving them authority to do so is just also a little bit troublesome to me.
That is correct, yep. We won't be able to.
You have no problems with that, Simmons?
Say again?
You have no concerns with the area that they want to develop?
I don't think so, because like I said, they'll have to go through flood control. And if I remember right, a lot of the stuff on the south side of the Palomas is going to be the power substation.
No, it's never a concern to me. If they got somebody to sell their power to, that's fine. And that means that they'll develop, and that's one of the largest solar developers I can think of, 2,000 acres. But, I mean, they're not going to develop at all, but I just wonder if it means anything that their land crosses the wash.
Well, that will come up when they're getting ready to pull the permits.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, at the time of the Planning and Zoning Commission, the applicants stated they were not planning on building on the wash.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for staff?
I have the applicants present.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
and
please.
I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing.
I subscribe to a saying that says that when you're ahead, you quit. So I'm just letting you know you're ahead.
That is true. Yeah. And good morning, Chairman and Supervisors.
Morning.
I appreciate the commentary. I do want to still just quickly address you all. My name is Matthew Pagan. It's good to see some of you again. I'm a Senior Manager of Development at Leeward Renewable Energy, or what we call LRE. We're an owner and operator of renewable energy projects throughout the nation, but importantly, more and more here in Yuma, Arizona. One of the reasons I wanted to bring the maps today was, as requested by some of the supervisors, I also wanted to show the good impact that we've had in the county so far. So on the left-hand side of the map in front of you, you'll see the hatched areas, which is the project we're talking about today. But on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see the project impacts that we've had so far. So we're proud to own and operate White Wing Ranch Solar, Sierra Pinta Battery Storage, and soon to be breaking ground on Elizabeth Solar here. And I just want to note for the chairman here and the supervisors that just those three projects alone, we are forecasting an approximate $100 million in tax revenue to the county. So we look forward to continuing that relationship here with you all, with the Elisa project. I did just want to again highlight the main reasons why we're here, because we do still have our permit active for the whole complex. We recently acquired this project from another developer, and we have the plans to own and operate it. But we realized that we really needed to split the project into 3 phases. So that's one of the reasons we're here, cleaning up the permit. This is one of 3 phases to come. And the second reason, as mentioned, is that when the complex was previously approved for its permit in 2319, it was given a 30-year condition. For us as solar developers, the lifetime of the project is much longer than 30 years, which is indeed why you've seen no time limits previously get granted to some of our other projects like White Wing Ranch. I just want to draw your attention to the time that it takes to develop the project, the lifetime of the project, decommissioning, any delays, making sure we secure those power purchase agreements with APS or other utilities. You're pushing potentially 60 years. And so the 30-year time limit is a challenge during financing, as Supervisor Reyes mentioned for us. Final thing I want to mention is that, nothing is going to change as far as this project and the land itself. We are really proud to say that this full project complex is all sited on private land. Just to finally to talk about your concerns about the wash, I do want to mention that that is roughly a 640-acre parcel. We are only planning to utilize, I believe, about 400 acres of it. The whole south end of it is completely not buildable. So thank you for your time. Look forward to any further questions.
Mr. Chairman, you've answered one of my questions, and I really appreciate you stating that this is 100% on private land. And I'll ask you again, or for the first time, is there any state land involved in any of this project?
No, sir.
Okay. You're aware of our negative experience with another solar company and how it had a dramatic and negative impact within the community. Is that something you would ever do to us? I want you to go on the record.
Yeah.
Before we vote for it.
For sure. I mean, I would love to be on the record and say this. Like I mentioned earlier, we're really proud to be already in the county. We have
Just
a good
tell me
track
that
record.
you're not going to appeal your tax base.
We as a company do not have a plan to do what has happened in the past. We want to, in good faith, pay our taxes that we promised to pay. I understand that was an issue. That is our plan. I also want to say, though, I do know that a lot of that was held at the state level.
Correct.
And that makes it out of our hands.
And I just want to make a comment, too, that they also support whatever we can do to get legislation to change it to where we have control over those type tax situations.
Well, Darren, you're aware that we've approached that before and been denied a couple of times by the state. They do not want us to have local control.
But I mean, just the fact that the solar company wants, supports any action on that.
Perfect.
Where
I
it puts
appreciate
it
that.
back under our control. So,
Do you have the support of the Rod and Gun Club?
I believe we have
Yes.
support from them, but they are some members here if they'd like to take the mic and speak.
Darren? Full support of Rod
Yes.
and Gun Club? Okay. And
Yes.
no
I-
concerns with
I-
no migratory concerns? Sorry, Darren, were there any migratory concerns for the animals out there?
no.
Okay.
Rod and Gun Club are fully support their permit.
Thank you very much.
And they're in the back.
Yep. I just want to echo what Supervisor Lyons said, but because we've really had a sour taste about solar, and it's I think we've been lucky that we've had the funding to give back, but the schools they have struggled, especially in that area. And
The East County School.
Yeah, and so it's for them. They got to go and get a bond, and that's so the taxpayers are the ones that are on the hook for that. And I just kind of, when I see solar now, it's just kind of like, do I want to approve it or not? Because it just, something will happen if you end up selling it or someone else comes on board and does differently what you just said. It'll put us back in a situation that we got to find the money, but the schools got to go out to a bond and get it, because as they get the money, they use it.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, Ian, a question about, getting, when we get the taxes, I mean, can we secure some of it? And, because I honestly, you know, they don't know if they're gonna sell it. Someone comes up and they'll sell it, and then we're back to square one. So how can we, or do that, I mean, can we just put some money aside instead of putting it all in the general fund? Maybe we call it, give back to solar.
I would hate to have a fund for that, but I guess our budget director isn't here. I mean, yes, there are avenues, certainly the board's contingency and reserves, as already have done with solar in the past, have covered that expense. So whether or not we have a delineated account just for solar, I would hate to have to anticipate that potentiality, but the board's reserves do cover that potential expense.
But I don't want to have to dip into the general fund.
No, that's the thing, yeah.
No.
Take taxpayer money out to cover a business that defaults or changes its mind. I'm sorry, we just don't trust the solar industry, period.
Yeah. It's kind of tough.
We need you to give us an assurance to the rest of this community, to all the school districts, to all the special taxing districts,
That you won't.
that you're not going to come back and change the terms after we approve this.
Yeah.
What assurances do we have there would be no changes?
Yeah. As far as assurances goes, I think that's something that we've been contemplating as a company is really thinking about.
Where is the president of your company asking and telling us today that these assurances will be met?
Yeah, I think we've been a good actor in the community so far with our build projects, and we're proud about that. You know, we're not an outsider. We have been paying our taxes for our projects. You know, one thing that we thought about is the impact to the schools. That obviously means a lot to us. It means a lot to Supervisor Simmons. You know, here today, we are really proud to say that we are going to make a commitment of $300,000 to those 4 schools in those areas that were hurt the most. But we realize that there's perhaps a longer issue here at hand, right? So one of the ideas we're thinking about is, you know, we are going to be owners and operators of this project long term. We do not plan to do a reassessment of taxes. However, I do hear your concern that perhaps in the chance that it is sold to another company, maybe they would do that. So what we are thinking about doing is structuring something whereby if a tax assessment ever were to occur, essentially our company, LRE, or future owner, would give 50% of that reassessment to the local school districts as a donation. Probably something sizable, right? You could think $1-2 million as kind of a cap, and that way you'd directly be able to support those local schools.
I would like to see that in writing before we approve that, Mr. Chairman.
We are definitely happy to continue to work on that. I would just respectfully ask that the board consider, you know, the potential of approving us with some type of condition, perhaps, maybe that it's tied out to the building permit. That way we have the confidence to continue our due diligence on the site, and you all have the confidence in knowing that there's not going to be a building permit issued if we don't come to that type of agreement.
I'm amenable to that. That sounds good. We just
I am too.
need you to understand we don't trust the solar industry, period. So if you're going to be a good actor, you'll be the first one that we've had an experience with being a good actor.
And we're going to do our best to regain your trust.
Okay.
Something also important for us, as I mentioned, though, would be lifting the time limit, because that gives our financing parties the understanding.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. I don't have a problem lifting the time limit either.
We are here representing the people of the Yuma community, and they have not been treated well.
I hear your point. It means a lot to me.
I'm emphatic about it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I know we've spoken before on
Yes.
this, and I hear your points, and I will be back 2 more times for our other phases, so it's critically important to us as well that we do right by you all.
Presentation?
Yeah.
Who's managing the, back it up a little bit.
Me, I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman, that's me.
Yeah.
You want me to go back?
I have a
Little
question.
bit. Yeah, I wanted to know if there was, what the conditions were, but I only see 9 and 10 here. So the use, there we go. 8. Okay, back it up a little bit. Yeah, 7. Decommissioning bond for the applicant, security fence, sign warning, dust relatives, okay? Back it up. The owner should maintain copies. Chief professional. Emergency contact phone, special permit, site plan. Okay, thank you. I got it.
Any other questions for the applicant?
So I would make a motion,
Well,
Mr. Well, go
I
ahead.
gotta,
Yeah.
just ask, any, well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Make a motion.
Anybody else from the public? Oh, and I do have, I do have a speaker
Card.
form. Robert Carrasco.
Good morning, Chairman, Board. It's good to see some of you guys. My name is Robert Carrasco. I'm the Public Affairs Director for the Yuma Valley Rod and Gun Club. So there's some differences in this Board of Supervisors meeting today. The big difference is we don't have 100 to 150 sportsmen in the back of the room and outside of the doors, you know, coming to speak with you guys about how we shouldn't build solar. We share your thoughts where we don't trust the solar industry in general. There's two big differences with Leeward, however. The first big difference is it's not, they don't want to build on our public lands, state trust land. BLM, sadly, we don't get a say. Once they get their agreements, everything done with BLM, they can build. We're not happy about that, but there's not much that we can do. With state trust land, we can, and you guys have been gracious enough to work with the club to stop our public lands from, you know, from losing our public lands. Leeward is 100% on private land, and we're very proud of them for that. The second being, they have been gracious enough to work with us on wildlife mitigation, outdoor recreation mitigation, and so, and how, though we've not papered anything, we have assurances from them moving forward throughout their operation that we'll be able to, you know, mitigate wildlife and outdoor recreation activities, even on their private land, which is something they don't have to do. And so we're very thankful for them for that, and we just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that as well. So.
Get it in writing.
Okay.
That's it. Get it in writing.
Okay. So, all right, appreciate, any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate you guys, thank you.
Anybody else from the public? I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the board.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I'll make a motion that we approve as presented with a contingency before permitting that we have agreements in place that would accommodate our concerns. Written agreements in.
As well,
He wants
as well as we lift the time, take away the time frame.
I was going to
I think that's changed.
Yeah, and I was going to add that.
Okay, so your motion is to go ahead and approve it, contingent upon having written agreements in place that protects the taxpayers of Yuma County. And the second part of that motion would be to remove the time limitations.
Addressing, and the applicant has made some overtures as to what those agreements would be, and that we would then be able to approve those in the construction phase or the permitting phase.
What's the years?
60 years?
60?
Is that what you asked for?
This
Or 50? I've seen the models for 50 and 60. I'm amenable to the 60 for financing.
I would say do a no time frame on it like we did the others.
That's fine with me too, Darren.
It's constantly changing. It's constantly changing. I mean, 60 years may not even be a reality.
I'm okay with the no time limit, Darren.
So am I.
Okay.
So the motion would be to approve the application as listed, with the contingency plans have to be approved by the board before the construction begins, and that there'll be no time limitation on the permit. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there a second?
Correct.
It's my motion,
The
so
motion,
you'd be
I'll
the second.
second.
Lynn seconded.
Okay.
Oh, Lynn seconded. That's what I thought. Is there a second?
Is that right, Lynn?
Is that right,
Yes,
Lynn?
that is
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, there's a yeah, Darren?
No, I'm good. Yep.
Okay. There's a motion and a second to approve special use permit case number 26-03 with the conditions that had been stated and no time limit. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And Mr. Chairman, for the applicant, please don't take it personal, but you have a solar on your forehead, and
You move around
we
with
see that coming and we bristle. So please
Mr. Chairman?
please earn our trust.
Yes, go ahead, Darren.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to have to hang up for now. So I will see you all at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to item number 4, rezoning case number 26-02.
Richard Munguia, Senior Planner.
Two speakers.
This request is to rezone a parcel 10 gross acres in size from RA 10 to LI 5. It's located within the 70 decibel noise zone. It's approximately 670 feet west of the Avenue 4E on the south side of the alignment of County 12.5 Street, and the intent is vehicle storage. The subject property is identified here in red in the crosshatch, and it's zoned RA 10. Blue is light industrial, 2-acre minimum. Yellow is SR2, which is Sinclair Ranch subdivision. Green is RA 10, and purple is PD, which is Citrus Business Park. This is an aerial photo of the property. The subject property does have legal access from the County 12.5 Street alignment, though physical access is unclear. This is the legal access. The physical access appears to be less than the width of one-way traffic. The Canal Road is not a publicly accessible road, and legal access would be difficult.
Legal access would be what?
Difficult. Additionally, at the end of this block wall, a little further past that block wall, there's a concrete lined irrigation ditch that does hinder access to the subject property as well. Comments were received by the Marine Corps. One letter and in opposition and one petition were received. These are the property owners that were opposed. It is 31% of property owners in opposition by number and 19% by area, which does not require a supermajority. The Planning and Zoning Commission did not make a motion. The motion to deny failed with a vote of 3-3. Staff is recommending approval subject to the conditions shown on screen. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Because there's difficulty with legal access, what's the plan?
It would be up to the applicant to determine that access. Potentially, they could go along, I believe it's County 12th Street to the south, and potentially gain access through that LI2 and HI2 industrial subdivision to the south.
I think those issues are resolved during the permitting process. You're gonna have to ask them to have some legal way to get there, other than the canal bank, to me. If they want approval of that, they need to find a way to address the access issue at the construction permit level. Because they need to, if they're gonna build a vehicle storage in there, they need some way to get there that is legal. You can't come up the canal bank. It's not proper to me. Is that okay?
What?
Well, the motion would be to approve, but with the legal access issue being resolved.
It's a public hearing too, so.
Well, I know, that's what I mean. So?
Do you have a question for staff?
Yes. How do you address the legal issue of access to the site? How do you plan to address it?
Most likely, probably during
construction.
When they split the property. Their intent is to divide it into two. We can do it at that point. Otherwise, during construction.
Okay, got it. So,
any other questions?
Not for staff.
Okay.
But I'd love to hear what Maggie has to say,
Maggie?
since she made her way up there.
We also have conditions in, for this case that identify that they have to acquire access from other than County 12.5 Street.
Ingress and egress easements. Yep, number 2.
Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing, and if the applicant's here, is the applicant here?
Yes,
Okay.
the applicants are here.
If you want to come up.
We have other people that want to speak.
Good afternoon or morning
No,
still.
no.
My name is Belia Dupree, and I'm representing Mr. Brown, the owner of the parcel. He cannot be with us today, but we do have the issue regarding the access already solved with the neighbors to the south, and Juan here is going to.
So basically, we have the conditions that were submitted through with the Yuma County that asks us certain things that we have to get in order for, within a certain amount of time. And it says, I believe, within 1 year, ingress and ingress into the property. And I do have a letter from the number 88 and number 89, our vehicle storage now. And their 88 is willing to give easement entry to parcel number 91. So that issue would be resolved. They would go through the already existing street that runs on 12 3/4 and through parcel number 88. And I have the letter here. And that's pretty much it. We have the only stuff that we had gathered and looked at was that on the subject of of light industrial, the zoning and all that, the northern part of the property of the where PD pre-developed, or I believe it's called planned development zoning, and all those parcels are all light industrial use. And on the bottom, the 5 parcels below 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, they are also light industrial. We're hoping that we get approved based on the best use of the land. Right now is agricultural. The person, whoever is growing now there, are using the Bureau of Reclamation land to bring equipment, heavy equipment in through the property. But we're willing to resolve that issue by giving access to through the bottom part of the property, and would obviously agree to the conditions that are set forth by the Yuma County in order to get this done.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize if I missed it, but could the gentleman state his name for the record, for the
No, we
minutes?
didn't hear that.
What's that?
State your name.
Oh, my name, Juan Villegas.
Well, I hate to give approval on something we don't know yet, because I hate to ask people to get right-of-ways from somebody they can't depend on, but in this case, it's private owner. So I guess, in a way,
I've got a couple questions, Tony.
well, go ahead, ask.
Mr. Chairman, I've been contacted by some of the neighbors, and they're concerned about this turning into a wrecking yard or something of that nature. And I know we've got some additional people here that would like to speak. So what assurances do we have that this is not going to become a junkyard?
It is not a junkyard, Mr. Chairman. I have a picture of right now, like I said, the bottom, the number 88, 89 is already a light industrial, and it is a vehicle storage. Basically, what the owner does on those is whenever there's a automobile accident or vehicle impound, they pick up the vehicle. After a certain amount of time, they move the vehicle out, or they sell it, or they get rid of it, or the owner comes and picks it up. So it's not a wrecking yard. They don't dismantle any vehicles. They don't take anything apart. in order for that to even happen, you'd have to have a high industrial zoning. So we're not asking for high industrial, we're looking for light industrial. As it stands right now, the land itself is, the use on it is agricultural, which means that anybody that the owner authorizes could bring in farming equipment and just store it there. So, you know, what we plan, what my clients plan on doing is using it for only impounding and then releasing the vehicles. There's not gonna be no wrecking storage, there's not gonna be a junkyard, it's not gonna be any of that sort. And like I said, I have the owner on the below has a towing yard in Parker. And this is the front of what his business looks like. There's no, you don't see the vehicles, you don't see anything that would make you think that there's a wrecking yard there. So I can bring those two.
Sure.
And as far as I understand that some of the neighbors are concerned with, I guess, storing stuff back there and all that, and how the land is gonna be used. And we actually I took the liberty of going over and taking a few pictures of some of their backyards, and it doesn't, you know, there's one of the properties or several properties in there that have up to like 15, 17 vehicles just in their property. And so there will be fencing around the property where there will be the lattice that creates the, I can't remember what the word is called, but like a barrier that makes sure that there's nothing that is seen through the property and all that, so. Yeah, and then also we looked at the list that of the people that were opposed to it. Majority of them don't even live near the area. They're from foothills. They're from the inner part of the Yuma area. They don't even live in that area. So that's what we just looked at.
How long are you planning, like, or to, I understand, you know, there's an accident, you go and pick up the vehicle, you bring it. Pretty much if it's still owned by the bank, or the bank has a lien on it, they normally get it, but if there's a very small amount, they're gonna say, well, you can keep it. So what are you planning on doing with those vehicles?
Majority of the vehicles, once they're not picked up, then after a certain amount of time, I'm not in detail with the actual operations of the business. We're here representing the owners.
Okay.
The owners, because they're parcel 8889 are, the owners of that are in talks with parcel number 91 to bring in the business together and utilize that property as 8889, parcel 88 and 89. So after a certain amount of time, the vehicles would either be picked up or they would be sold to a wrecking yard, and they would be moved from the premises.
Let me see if I get this straight. 88 and 89 have a temporary, because they're still LI, which is light industrial. You need to be high industrial to be able to store your vehicles longer than a certain amount of time, which will make it a wrecking yard as opposed to a simple vehicle storage.
Exactly.
Which is what you want to do, because you're asking for LI1 or LI2, right?
Yeah.
So you're not asking for
no,
the high industrial. You can't
LI2.
do a wrecking yard on an LI1, and the county won't allow you.
No, you can't do a wrecking yard.
Not gonna do that, so
a light
that's what I'm
industrial.
saying.
You'd have to go through high industrial. We're not asking for high industrial. It's
Well,
only
that's what I
LI,
said.
light industrial.
Okay.
So
Let's hear from the other people that are here.
Go ahead.
Yard.
no, nothing will be. They can't.
You can't go
Vehicles-
get parts
vehicles
or
are
sell
usually
like a junkyard.
Yeah, usually vehicles are
Won't be
not,
for dismantle.
the only people that have access to them is either the owner or the banks or the, whoever, like the actual, the owners, basically. No, there won't be any dismantling, any wrecking, no, nothing like that. It's just vehicle storage for police impound and any other vehicles picked up. Correct. Correct. Yes, correct. There is an existing chain link fence, and the owner, I didn't bring it as the estimate, but I already have a company out there that's going to be doing the stretching of the chain link fence and put the inserts to make sure that there's no visibility into the vehicle, into the property. And I've already got the contacts and everything like that that's working on those.
Any other questions for
No.
the representatives? Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have speaker forms. Marisa and Steve Hines.
Last but not least, we have, smiling at you back there. My name is Marisa Hines. My address is 12520 South Avenue 4E. And we appreciate you allowing us to speak, to stay to the very end and hanging with us. The 10-acre parcel property location referenced in this case butts up on its east side against 4 2+ acre properties on which there are occupied homes on the original Sinclair Ranch site. And you can see that's number 8, 7, 6, and 5. And further to the south on Sinclair are another 4 2+ acre properties also having occupied homes. These 8 properties comprise the original 20-acre Sinclair Ranch. For a time when we began building our home in 1995, this site was surrounded by citrus trees on 3 sides, north, west, and across 4E to the east. Over the course of time, the Citrus Business Park was established on the north side. The business park is generally quiet at night, but high-powered lights from several businesses shine out brightly all night, lighting up the 8 Sinclair homes and surrounding structures. As an aside, we are in contact with the County Planning and Zoning to see if the lights can be readjusted to shine downward to comply with the dark skies ordinance. This property in question has had crops growing on it ever since the citrus trees were removed. Okra has been harvested, and most recently, a great crop of cotton was produced. Also, an irrigation canal runs along its east boundary, which you can see between the black and the hash marks. That's a canal. So there's water available, unlike the fact that these 10 acres are landlocked. There is no legal ingress or egress. The easement belongs to another farmer who has informed us that ingress and egress will not be allowed. And he has signed on line 1 of our protest petition as opposed. Now we, the affected owners, property owners, get notification via mail that the owner wants to rezone from ag, RA10, to light industrial for 5-acre minimum to allow for vehicle storage. This sounds as though it will require the use of lights for security purposes. And just to give you an idea, this is what our backyard looks like from the lights at the Citrus Business Park.
We can share.
Thank you. And this one right here,
And this is your backyard looking out?
yes.
And for staff, have we addressed
And that's already there, right?
some of the light issues?
Light issues.
I know there are security issues. I have them too, but
For wrecked vehicles,
I'm just wondering about lights. You mentioned the dark sky.
exactly.
So I'm just asking staff for clarification on that.
Right, right.
I wasn't aware that this area was in that.
But to have vehicle storage, it does sound as though it will require the use of lights for security purposes, and vehicle storage can quickly turn into an eyesore, more commonly known as a junkyard. And I reference this panoramic photo from a property on Avenue 3E between County 13th and County 12th Streets. This eyesore appears to also be vehicle storage, and several high-powered lights can be easily seen in that photo. You can see the hive standing up there. The agent that spoke on behalf of the applicant at the rezoning meeting on May 26 this year said that this 10 acres would be used to house wrecked cars until they could be moved out for what? Repair, refurbished, and that it would also be short-term until they are relocated. Well, if that should be the case, what is short-term? Maybe a month, the agent suggests, and who would be policing this situation? We wonder if that's the purpose of the referenced Avenue 3E junkyard there, and how is that working out? It looks like it's been that way for a long time. And it's not done as if it's not done as stated, who's in our corner to protect us from infraction? We, the homeowners, do not want this behind us, not the lights, not the view, not any additional noise, nor do we want what a dump commonly attracts, namely perhaps rodents, disease. Among the signatories listed on the protest petition, the owner of property 21, right up there, you can see it at the top, above the hatch marks, that's Troy Eckert in Citrus Business Park to the north has signed as opposed, and he's within the 300-foot zoning area. To the south, Brad Harrison of Harrison Trucking has signed opposed. He is outside that zoning area. And as you recall, my mentioning the property owner to the west, who owns the only ingress-egress easement, has signed as opposed. Also, there are two churches outside the area in question, and the pastor of one of them has signed as opposed. There are several others that I've not been able to contact, nor could some of them be here as they're working folks. As to being able to view this or not, at the Planning and Zoning meeting, there was some discussion about fencing. We don't have anything in writing. Who's going to police it? Is it going to be good? They discussed a brick. They discussed chain link. It's still there. The lights would still be there, whatever. We, the undersigned, ask you, would you want this in your backyard? The applicant finds no problem with this. Perhaps a few acres behind their house could be used as vehicle storage. Why should the desires of one applicant prevail over that of so many as opposed or adversely affected? In closing, as homeowners have worked hard to make a good place to live, planted our gardens, raised our kids and our animals, and do not want our homes devalued, nor do we want to be pushed out by this planned intrusion. To borrow a lyric of singer Justin Moore, this is my dirt. These are my fields, where I harvest what I plant, where I raise my babies, a piece of me. You can't put a greenback dollar on what it's worth. This is my dirt. This is my dirt. There are too many red flags here, and the undersigned want to make it known that we are fully opposed to this rezoning proposal. Please retain the agricultural RA10 zoning. And my husband will read a statement from our neighbor because they are in California running a camp. Is Steve Hines, 12520 South Avenue 4E.
I'm speaking for Shannon Armorer and John Edmondson. Thank you for allowing us to voice our concerns about rezoning case number RZ2602. While we attend the Zoning Commission meeting on May 26, 2026, we apologize for not being able to be present for this meeting. Both of us teach out of state at a children's science empowerment camp for the month of July. We appreciate our neighbor acting as our proxy. Ladies and gentlemen, we will make this brief. We have very serious concerns, not only about the potential change in zoning, but also in the way this case has progressed. We live at 12540 South Avenue 4E, our dream home purchased in March 2020 when the world was upside down. We chose this location in a very small cluster of homes as it was surrounded by citrus and other agricultural crops. It is beautiful, peaceful, and at least 10 degrees cooler than town in the middle of the summer. We understand that the property behind our house could potentially be rezoned to allow an impound lot. When the citrus crops were torn down, it was a sad day for us. When alfalfa replaced citrus, we were happy to still have green around us. When we were notified about the potential rezoning, several thoughts crossed our minds and made our hearts feel heavy. As our neighbors have stated, car storage lots draw many types of critters, rodents and otherwise. Impound lots can leach toxic chemicals into our well water, oil, gasoline, other solvents, etc. There are no set hours of operation for an impound lot, as such lights and noises could impact us at any hour of the day or night. From John's law enforcement experience, we understand that the proposed 30-day limit for impounded cars is highly inadequate. Inaccurate. Evidence vehicles are held until court dispositions and unclaimed vehicles await auction. Our final major concern is that at the zoning commission meeting, we were unaware that there wouldn't be an opportunity to speak after the applicants. We feel this is an unfair advantage for them and a serious disadvantage for the neighborhood trying to protect our privacy, prevent pollution, both chemical and light, and maintain a sense of solitude. The applicants heard all of our arguments before they spoke. We had no opportunity to refute. The neighborhood adjacent churches and Citrus Park business centers all agree that rezoning this property would hurt all of us. We appreciate your time, understanding, and support. Sincerely, Shannon and John.
Well, thank you. Any questions for them?
A couple of the things that you mentioned, the applicant has already addressed, and so I wanted to make sure that I brought the applicant back up, but they did state that there would be fencing all around it, that it was not a permanent yard, it's light industrial versus heavy industrial. And I think there was one other comment aside from the fence. Oh, and then the access, and the access has been resolved through 86 and 88.
Yeah.
I heard you quote the song about My Dirt, but there's also, the dirt also belongs to them too, so that's why we're here, right? And so they're trying to address some of those challenges and come to a consensus as far as being able to move forward. I am a great respecter of private property rights, but it's got to go both directions. So where do you land after they've addressed some of those issues, right?
Right. And we do walk that with our dog pretty much daily. And we see what's going on. On 86 right now, there are 6 semi-trailers, and they've been parked there for well over a month. And 88 happens right now, just has one white car sitting there that's been there for a number of months. And the people that are in 90, he signed that he is opposed. And that's a plumbing business right now.
Let me get this straight. 87 is on high industrial. 60 is owned by a plumbing company. 88 and 89, as this guy's saying that it's going to allow a 20-foot right-of-way depending on zoning. They cannot access their property unless they have a way to get to it. So 88 and 89 does not provide them, if 90 does not provide them a 20-foot right-of-way, they won't be able to access for 13, would it be 13? Because I can't tell from this map that we see on the screen which way it's going. All I know is they have a canal and that you can actually prevent some of the issues that you're dealing with right now. Because that light issue can be prevented a little bit by the construction of something that makes sure that if that is in a dark sky zoning, you can, actually, I see a lot of your problems, and a lot of your problems are done by the fact that you didn't ask for that at the beginning. Maybe they were grandfathered in or something, but you should have asked for the lights to be down. They shouldn't bother you. And you shouldn't be able to see a junkyard like you see here. I don't know what this is, but
That's the side of our house.
that's the other side of the house.
That junkyard.
Oh.
Oh, up there?
Oh, this one.
This
I don't
is another one.
This is
Totally separate.
totally separate. So I understand that, but why doesn't it require a supermajority? I don't understand that. If 19% of the people around them, are we talking about the land that's it's owned 2 acres, 6 of them?
No, Tony, there's only one.
Well, the one in California, I'm trying to get to where the one in California is, because if she's one of those 6 signers, it's not? So it's in front, right?
Tony, there's only one parcel around on the 300 feet that is in opposition.
So the other side of the canal don't count.
Hold on, let me.
All of the parcels shown right here on the screen that are in red are in opposition within the 300
In
foot
opposition,
radius.
oh, okay.
Correct.
And that's 19%.
That is 19, it is,
And also 21 is in.
Yeah, and there are a whole bunch more, but they're not within the limit.
correct.
Correct.
So the canal is,
So it's 31% of the property owners in opposition by number and 19% by area. Number 21 is,
on the other side of the canal.
they stated that the property was owned by Troy Eckerd, but on the petition, he put a different address that was outside of the radius.
So that's what I'm trying to figure
So
out.
it's not it doesn't trigger a majority.
Well, if he is the owner, then most likely it would be over the 20% threshold. But on this petition, when I verified the addresses, his address is somewhere outside of this
And the
radius.
pastor lives on the other side of the canal too. The pastor, that's 27 and 26. So I'm trying to figure out why it doesn't trigger a supermajority. But I guess it's the way it is. So what we got to do is count the ones in red, and that's 19% by zone.
Also,
Yes.
next to the hatch marks,
Yes.
where it shows a 70 decibel,
Uh-huh.
that's owned by Joe Bell, and he's the one that's not allowing any egress or ingress. And that one where they showed up there where the canal, that's where one vehicle, single wide vehicle, one-way vehicle, it's not as wide as that picture. That right there, you can't get a car down there. It's the angle that's showing it wide, and you can't do that.
However, they did address
Pardon me?
It's about 4 feet
Who's
wide. That
talking?
canal bank, the access is roughly about 4 feet to 5 feet wide.
Right, but didn't they address the access coming through those other 2 parcels, that they'd
Yeah.
already been granted that access?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Can you go back to the crosshatch map?
Don't you need
So
90?
they stated that 86 and 88 have already granted them access, and that they weren't worried about the parcel to the left, the 70 decibel RA10. They didn't need it from them because they got it through the existing little subdivision right there.
Correct, that's what the applicant stated.
Okay.
If parcel 21 is owned by Troy Eckerd and parcel 2, the RA10 is owned by one of the persons that are on the petition, then it will require a supermajority. The addresses that they provided were located outside of the radius, and that's why it did not hit the threshold for a supermajority.
So what, I mean, how was how was it advertised? Obviously, I mean, if I get a notice it's gonna be with that address. Huh? So if I own land, I mean, I should be able to put that address, but if it wasn't addressed as that, then that's why it's not red.
Correct. Some people own multiple properties and their mailing address is somewhere else. The parcel number 2, that farmland, I don't think it has an address, so if the first person that signed this petition is that owner, he put his mailing address, which is located outside of this area.
Lot 21 is currently used by Troy to dump concrete for recycling.
Okay, if he does own that, then yes, it is a super.
Well, this is across, I use that particular lot. He allows us to dump our concrete there.
Who said that?
I did.
Yes. Joe Bell allows you to dump your concrete.
No.
Oh.
Troy Eckert does.
Oh, Troy Eckert, okay.
On lot 21, but it's part of their partnership for that.
Okay.
So
Now, number
staff,
one.
can we, hold on a minute, can we correct this? I mean, I don't want to be here another half an hour.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think that we need to send this back and find out before we make a decision.
Can I get some clarification on that first signature?
We'll
the address?
We'll get it. That's what I'm asking.
Mr.
On
Chairman,
their address.
Maggie Castro, Planning and Zoning Director. We're calling the office to see if that parcel is owned by Troy Eckert. We're looking into our systems. So if you can give me about 5 minutes, verify that.
Yes, we're here for
All right.
5 minutes anyway.
Thank you for your, if we have another questions, I'll call
Okay,
you
well,
up.
I want to make sure that you know that, number one, the address is local on the petition.
Please direct your questions to the chairman.
I just wanted to clarify that the petition on line number 1, that is local. That's a local address. 4797 47th Lane is local.
Maggie, it is owned by Troy Eckert.
Yes.
I confirmed it.
This will require a supermajority.
Okay.
Are you done with us?
There's a supermajority of the present, the board that's sitting right now, or?
I believe it's a supermajority of all of you, so it's my understanding that you would all have to vote yes.
Well, supermajority requires that
Of the board.
3 of us vote there now.
If
because
it's a
we're only 4.
supermajority vote of the board, it's the full board, 5 members, so 4
But what are
members
the
would
5
have to
members?
approve.
4.
But wait a minute.
Supermajority
I
of
thought a
4.
supermajority meant the supermajority of the members present,
Yeah.
not the members that.
As it reads, it says a supermajority vote by the Board of Supervisors. So it's
Okay,
the
so
full
the board is made up by 4 people now. The 5th member left.
How's that?
How does that read? Because I thought the supermajority was.
Mr. Chairman, Maggie Castro, Planning and Zoning Director. So because there are 4 members here, all 4 members, there's 4 out of the 5 members, all 4 would have to vote in favor of the motion, if it's to approve.
So if one of them dumps their concrete in the side, wouldn't that make it a conflict of interest to vote on this item? So how do you do that?
It's a different.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure what he means.
If it doesn't count.
Yeah, thank you, Maggie, for we have that 4.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where would the conflict be?
Well, you said you're dropping concrete on the side.
No, I dumped concrete on lot 21.
Well, that 21 is what makes this a supermajority.
So, ma'am, we'll take it from here. Thank you. We've heard your concerns.
Yeah, well, I know that he's trying to figure out
No.
about the concrete and where it is.
Well,
I
yeah.
know where it's at.
Yeah.
I just looked at my map of where I dump.
Thank you. Well, and before we make a decision or bring it back to the board, anybody else from the public? So I can close the public hearing, or the applicant or the representative of the applicant?
Just wanted to reiterate that there is an existing road on 12 3/4. If you go to down there is an existing road. and access to the property from those two parcels up there. And that letter that I provided, the owners actually has actually told me that he would actually even make it even bigger if it's needed. If it's more than 20 feet that it's needed, 30 feet, 40 feet, he'll agree to give them that much of easement to allow for the fire truck and all that stuff to go through and everything like that.
And also just to remind you that there's already that business in there in those two parcels. It's the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just also want to clarify that staff is recommending approval subject to the conditions. I don't know if I had made mention of that earlier.
All right, I'll bring it back to the board and close the public hearing for.
And schedule for development as well. The performance conditions and schedule for development.
I'll make a motion we approve as presented. Rezoning case number 2602. Nobody's going to
I'll
second.
second it. There's motion and a second to approve rezoning case number 26-02. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay, aye, whatever, I
Right.
oppose.
It's not the supermajority, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I want legal to get into this a little bit more, because I don't think a supermajority means that you have 4 members at the presence. So I want legal to answer that question. When is a supermajority needed if you haven't got legal descriptions? I mean, legally, we weren't required to have a supermajority, and then we became a supermajority when Lot 21 was supposed to be in case, but that.
Well,
that's not proven.
Tony Superintendent, what we'll do is, since it was 3-1, if it's,
Yeah,
and
legal
we'll
is-
ask legal to read if it's just the 4 present or is the full board, and then we'll take it from there, with her decision.
Congratulations, Alejandro,
or
on your
recommendation.
appointment. Because I gotta go.
Moving on to discussion regarding legislative issues. Thank you, Alejandro.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I am sorry for Supervisor Reyes and Supervisor Simmons, who will be missing the best part of the meeting, but anyways, that's how it is.
I know, but
I'll be quick, since CSA already took most of my talking points for today, which I appreciate. We'll start with the special session, which I had right here with me. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. So there was significant discussion at the Capitol about a possible special session tied to education policy, ESA reforms, and several legislative referrals that were sent to the November ballot. The broader deal being discussed would have done 3 main things. The Protect Education Act campaign would not move forward with its ESA initiative. The legislature would pull back HCR 2040, HCR 2048, and SCR 1032. And finally, lawmakers would send the governor a more limited ESA reform bill. That broader agreement did not come together. A narrower proposal later emerged that appeared to focus primarily on repealing or fixing HCR 2040, but that narrower version did not have the same level of support from the governor, legislative Democrats, or the union groups involved in the discussions. As a result, there will not be a special session, and the 3 referrals remain expected for the November ballot unless pending litigation changes that. Just for context, HCR 2040 deals with school district resources and labor organization activity. HCR 2048 deals with ESA protections for military families and could affect broader ESA reform efforts. SCR 1032 would require certain school districts to spend at least 60% of operational spending on direct classroom instruction. Separately, the Protect Education Act campaign has submitted its signatures to qualify its ESA reform measure for the ballot. Reports indicate that campaign submitted approximately 420,000 signatures, which is above the 255,949 ballot signatures required, but the signatures still need to go through verification process. The practical takeaway is that this education and ESA issues are likely moving from legislative negotiations to the courts, the signature verification process, and ultimately to the November ballot. Moving on, for the first time in Arizona's history, voters will elect a lieutenant governor as part of the governor's ticket in November 2026. This new office was created through Proposition 131, which voters approved in 2022. The practical change is that the lieutenant governor will replace the Secretary of State as the first person in the line of succession if the governor dies, resigns, or is removed from office or is permanently unable to serve. The position is also a little different from a traditional standalone office. Once in office, the governor must appoint the lieutenant governor to an executive role, either chief of staff, director of the Arizona Department of Administration, or another position the governor is authorized to appoint. From a timing standpoint, gubernatorial nominees must name their lieutenant governor running mate at least 60 days before the general election, which puts a practical deadline at September 4. On the water issue, and Supervisor Vice Chairman Lyons can correct me if I'm wrong in any of the following points. Last week, the Arizona Department of Water Resources convened an informational meeting to discuss how Arizona may implement a lower basin proposal intended to stabilize the Colorado River system in the near term, while a longer-term agreement among the basin states remains unresolved. The proposal would reduce Colorado River water use by Arizona, California, and Nevada by approximately 1.25 million acre-feet annually between 2026 and 2028. For Arizona, one important implementation question is how conserved water would be credited, stored, and tracked. ADWR, the Arizona Water Banking Authority, and the Arizona Reconsultation Committee are expected to help shape how that, and I quote, intentionally created surplus, end quote, is managed for Arizona's future use. The federal process is the next major item to watch. A final environmental impact statement from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation is expected at the end of July. Governor Hobbs has not taken litigation off the table, but the state's next step will likely depend on whether the federal process protects or threatens Arizona's allocation. And then lastly, on the federal side, I'll focus on USMCA and the New World Screwworm. First, USMCA remains in force, but the U.S. declined to extend the agreement for a new 16-year term at this time. That means that the agreement now moves into annual reviews unless the three countries reach a new understanding. U.S. and Mexico negotiations are expected to continue this month. Mexico has indicated it wants to address U.S. concerns, while also seeking relief from steel and aluminum tariffs and opposing seasonal duties on agricultural trade. The World Trade Alliance has warned that uncertainty around USMCA could affect investment, hiring, and long-term planning. Second, Congressman Cisco Manny announced that the University of Arizona received a $3.74 million USDA grant to strengthen Arizona's preparedness for the New World Screwworm. The funding will support research, surveillance, diagnostics, outreach, and planning. The Arizona-Sonora region remains free of confirmed cases, but cattle trade has been restricted for much of the past year. And with that, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I conclude my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Alejandro?
Are you getting any sleep?
A little bit more.
Okay.
Let's say 4 hours a day.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alejandro. Can we forego?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. All right. We'll forego the summary current events, and on item number 1 on discussion and action items, I will go ahead and table it and move it, continue it to the next meeting, and because we're going to go into executive session, and it'll take a little bit longer. So I know you're ready for lunch.
Special shout out to the Sheriff's Office. Thank you for being here.
Meeting adjourned.